Let's get started.
Here we go. Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this. Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
For the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Floyd.
Welcome to another episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Him, welcome to the party.
And Simon.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. What we do is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest in order, give the talking points, our opinions, shoot the shit. But first, Kamar, how was your week?
This, that.
Oh, yeah, this,
And
that. Oh,
the
do I have
next.
to say it the same every week?
Always.
Oh, it really? Okay.
You've never done it differently.
Sorry. Well, I don't
Did
know.
you one time say this, that, and the third?
Whatever, maybe.
And the third.
You've never said that before?
No.
don't
I think you
think so.
dreamed it.
You think you've said the third. This, that, and the third.
No, he's never said that.
I believe you. Okay, well, whatever.
I mean, I must have because he brought it up out of nowhere.
My favorite is next, by the way, this, that.
This, that, and the
I
next.
like the next. Yeah.
Are there any Patreons to read? Sorry.
There are no Patreons to read, but I want to take this opportunity to wish a very Merry Christmas to all the Patreons and your family, and I hope the best for you in the new year, and the non-Patreons, happy holidays.
I thought it was going to be worse than that. Yes, Patreon people, thank you so much.
The only thing I did this week was make a nice stew, nice hearty beef stew.
No more popcorn ceiling. You don't have another third times a charm story.
Oh,
for us?
it's still going. It's still going.
How much stipple did they have?
Well, no, the key is if you can remove it smooth, that's the best.
Yeah, of course.
But if it's been painted a couple times, it's not coming off.
Oh, my God.
So then you have to put mud over it till it cuts flat.
People paint a stipple ceiling?
Either way, I didn't really want to talk about
Well, you should have
fucking
asked.
popcorn. It was
But here's
facetiously.
Here's the thing. Normally you take mud and put it on like this, and it's laborious. But we figured out you can just roll it on with a roller.
Here's the
and then
thing.
smooth it out.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, you might have a stipple ceiling.
That's the
Merry
wrong
Christmas.
attitude to
Sorry,
have, my
sorry.
friend,
I'm
because you're about
sorry.
to
You
drop
asked.
some alien wolf
You
knowledge
asked.
on
I'm
us.
not.
I'm not going to. I did nothing this week.
Very nice stew.
Nothing of interest to you or you.
Everything you do is
no
interesting.
aliens.
Everything is
no
interesting.
nothing. Oh, but I did read two interesting things this morning. One, I'm sure you guys saw this. The UK
Yeah, has a
is like
special strain of
new
coronavirus.
strain of corona, 70% more virulent,
The one in Europe.
and everyone is cutting them off. Nobody can
I know.
fly
All of
in.
Europe
Yeah.
has cut off the UK.
So island nation, real island nation.
Well, have you seen 28 Days Later?
I have, yeah.
This is
The other thing was, did you see Sweden?
what?
Is just getting overrun by cases. So much for herd immunity.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen to a very interesting podcast this morning. What is it? It's Things They Don't Want You to Know. And I think that's what it's called. And it was all about Ghislaine Maxwell, because she is now, her family is trying to put together this deal, a
$28.5 million.
$30 to $40 million bail package. And they were just giving her whole backstory and then her father's whole backstory. Dude, that is like a spy novel. You know what I'm saying? Like some crazy
we know
movie
it is, though.
you would have watched. I know.
He is a spy now.
And you know how he died, eh? So on his yacht, he had a yacht, and he was like a big fat guy, and he would always piss off the side of the yacht. Like that was his thing. And apparently he had a heart attack and fell into the ocean.
As these people
Matt,
do.
you missed my air quotes.
No,
on
I
heart attack.
saw them out of the corner of my eye. Don't
Very
worry.
good, very good.
I also forgot to
That's
say
it.
the non-Patreons that the final Patreon of 2020 is coming out this week with Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. It was a doozy, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there were some arguments.
Some
arguments.
There was some fire. Also, I had trouble taking notes because I took your advice and watched that the flight attendant.
Okay.
Did you watch it all?
Yes.
So I just got sucked into it. You know what I mean? Did
Does
you
that mean
enjoy
you were
it?
listening to the podcast while watching the flight attendant? I'm confused.
You know that you have to take notes, though, right?
I do.
Okay.
But I was just cramming because
Okay,
had I
gotcha.
not watched the
Did
flight
you love
attendant-
it? Did you love it?
My only question is, the Italian guy, does he die?
The Italian guy.
Yeah.
No, he lives.
He does
Yeah,
survive that.
because you see him
You guys giving
leaving and they
spoilers right
wave
now?
to each other. It doesn't matter. It's not an important part.
No,
She's so hot, though.
Kaylee Coco or whatever.
I guess so, but I guess the character she played sort of got ugly
Because of the drinking.
and just everything, yeah. But it's that sort of thing when everyone thinks you're crazy, but you're not.
It's when she's in the convenience store and she's trying to calm down and she cracks open a beer. And I'm thinking to myself, because I can't relate to that, right? Like, I can obviously relate to being stressed out and smoking a joint. But like a beer would never calm me down. Maybe a shot would or something. You know what I'm saying? But like,
But if you chugged that beer right away,
But I don't
it's the
think
same
it's-
as
yeah, I guess.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's calming you down. I think the shakes from not drinking. So it's to settle those.
It's an interesting way you should watch it just if you have nothing better to do. It's interesting how they like weave the story with her past and the false and this and that.
No,
you know?
no, it's well done. It's a little weird, the dead guy talking, but I think there's some magic thing with a good show because this was way better than Raised with Wolves.
I didn't even finish Raised by Wolves, so it could not have been good.
Exactly.
And I'm a science fiction fan. Like,
But there's something on like the fourth episode where you just get hooked.
yes.
And then they do it well every other episode that like, you're like, I have to see what
Yeah,
happens.
no, it is. They definitely have that HBO model.
It's a
that
bit of a
keeps
formula,
you going.
but this one works well.
It's not HBO though. I think it's Showtime. HBO. It's
HBO Max.
I watched the trial of the Chicago Six, and what's the other one? The Judge. That's what I watched.
Was the judge good?
There's only 2 episodes out.
Did you like it though?
It's a frustrating watch.
Because of the story.
Yeah, because of the story.
Oh, and Shameless is out. Do you guys watch Shameless?
Shameless is terrible.
I did. There's a new season of Shameless.
New season,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Dealing with COVID too.
No way. Okay, I can't wait. And a new season of Wentworth comes out. Did you ever watch that show?
Never have.
Wentworth was you'd love it, Kamar. It's a women's prison in Australia.
Oh, maybe I saw one of those. I didn't want to like.
And in Australia, Wentworth was an actual show, and it was a soap opera that took place in a women's prison, and it spawned this, more
And it's way more
modern-
up your alley.
But how weird is that, eh? Like, that's your soap opera as a women's prison. It would be
Whatever.
cool, yeah.
How was your week, Matt?
I still don't have a PlayStation 5.
Oh my God.
Well, you do.
But
I have not received the one that I paid for.
Right.
that is in debt to someone else.
Yeah, so let's just say this. I don't want to commit conspiracy to commit larceny. But if you're listening and you felt obliged to go into a Walmart in Canada and maybe leave with something you didn't pay for, I would give you a hard wink and a nudge.
Or just join the Patreon. Whatever's easiest. Well, you got like 2 days.
I paid for this thing September 16th. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, you ideally want it by the 24th.
It's too late now.
I don't think I can advocate the theft, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Steal this book.
I appreciate the sentiment.
Oh, and thank you for
Speaking
the
of steal this book, he's
Christmas present.
Speaking of steal this book, that guy's one of the main characters of the trial of the Chicago 7.
That's the one with Sacha Baron Cohen.
That's the guy
Yeah,
who
that's
he
an alright
plays.
movie.
He
That's an
wrote
alright
the book
movie.
Steal This
Abby
Book.
Hoffman.
Abby
Yeah.
Hoffman,
and
yeah.
he's in the movie.
Great fucking, I mean, again, really frustrating watch just because of the injustice, but watch the movie.
But
Fuck.
entertaining. It's definitely entertaining. And you know who I really like is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Kamar, that is such a weird coincidence because we were watching the night before. You know the one where they're the 3 friends, Seth Rogen, Levitt, and
The
some
Night Before Christmas
black
or
guy
whatever.
that I don't know. Yeah, I think it's called The Night Before.
The night before, that's it.
What do you want?
Your lighter, please.
Yeah, and I was saying I really like Gordon Joseph Levitt or
Since
whatever. And
Third Rock from the Sun.
My daughter and my wife were like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "They said that doesn't seem like the type of guy a guy would like."
He's like a Pharrell he hasn't aged a day since he became famous. I also, you know who I really like, who's in that movie? He was in The Gentleman. He plays the brother in Billions, and he was in The Big Short.
The brother.
He's either
Billions.
Italian or Jewy,
Whose brother in Billions?
like the main character.
The guy from...
Again, he was in The Big Short. He's in the Trial of the Chicago 6. He plays the other hippie.
Oh yeah! Oh no! It is.
I
It is.
love him. He's fucking
You can't even
great,
tell. No,
dude.
it's
He is really.
It's
he's really good.
Kip or whatever. Like the prodigal son who's like
Yeah, in Billions.
trying to take over
the main character in Billions.
Billions is the one with the guy.
family.
Sorry, not Billions.
Succession.
Succession. That's it.
Succession.
And
my bad.
which guy? Oh, it's the
main-
Macaulay Culkin?
No,
the
no,
main
no.
son.
Kip or
I
whatever.
guess,
his name
the
I've
drug
never
addict.
seen him in anything else, though.
He's been in a ton of
really?
stuff.
You can
barely
he's really
recognize
good.
him.
He's
I do
really
like,
good.
I like him. That's an amazing show.
Oh, I called
Succession,
that.
yeah.
I called that.
It is so like it shouldn't be good. It should be boring, and it's nothing but exciting.
Well, because the characters are so horrible.
I know, it's amazing.
Okay,
the
let's-
sister and her husband. Oh,
He is amazing.
but he's the worst.
For
You
being a
want to like
sniveling
kill
little-
him? Yeah,
All right, let's get to Joe.
yeah. Oh, is that what we do?
That's where we're here. First of all, let me express my dismay that I did receive an ad this week.
1 week to the next.
Well,
I watch it on YouTube.
I'm going to say this, though. You watched all
They're
of
all
these?
on YouTube. JREE Powerful 12. I hope I didn't get shown down.
Oh, the guy. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Every
yeah.
time it comes down, someone else puts it up. And sometimes it's static and sometimes it's full video.
Well, the funniest is that Spotify didn't even do this right. Joe had to issue a fucking thing on his Instagram being like, we're well aware that you can't watch my show on pretty much anything other than your phone and a tablet.
'Cause you can't cast
Spotify's working on it. Well, no, like I have Spotify on my PlayStation 5, for example.
Oh.
You would think that it would have the capability of video, given that it's on a screen. But no.
So when I'm watching
Yeah.
What do you watch on exactly?
my phone,
Okay.
Joe Rogan starts.
Mm-hmm.
His face comes on. You know that. Then there's a glitch.
There's always
every
a-
time.
yeah, I have that too.
And then I just
Are
didn't-
you on 2 times, 3 times or something?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
1.8 times, but
It doesn't
whatever.
matter. If you're on anything but 1 time, it does that.
I thought maybe that was something to do with me not getting ads because I'm still not getting ads.
No. The ads, no, Simon, the ads don't come like that. The ads come like they would in any other shit podcast where like
Just in the
Kamar
middle.
and I are in the middle of talking. He's about to make a big point and boom.
Subway
have you
sandwiches,
tried
5
Hello
this week.
Fresh?
So why don't I get ads?
This is the thing. Hear me.
We've said you probably miss it.
And you will. This is the other thing too, Simon. I believe you've missed one. Here's
It's so
the thing.
seamless.
I've only received one single ad in the last 7 episodes I've listened to. And it was in the middle of the Terry Vert. So my thing is I think they just... I was pissed at first, but I'm like, whatever. If they throw one ad in every 10 episodes, what do I really care? Except for the fact that I'm paying for premium. So
I saw you write that you were done.
I was pissed at the time,
You were
yeah.
wrestling with being
Well, no, because
done.
I just thought about it and I was like, because again, I actually took the time to hit Spotify up. And I said, what the fuck is going on here? Because I pay for premium. And the person on the chat was like, you do pay for premium. Your premium is activated. Everything's good.
Third party, yada, yada.
Well, and they said, listen, the podcaster has control over this. I can't turn it off. And they've chosen to have ads. And then I was like, well, what about this ad-free premium? And they were like, yeah, you get ad-free music. It says it in the...
They didn't come around to podcasts.
That's the thing. And that's their little fucking sweet little loophole, right?
Fucking Swedes, eh?
Although I listen to majority audio, I really miss the YouTube.
That's what IKEA does too, eh, Maddie? They send you a flute to put together and then no Allen key.
Yeah, of course.
What's like a flute?
Exactly.
It's
probably a lamp.
An odd Vok, with 3 A's and 2 of them have dots on top.
But you can't fuck with their hot dogs
Okay, we're 15 minutes in. We should probably...
I can fuck with their hot dogs. They're terrible.
They are.
for the price.
Can you run down the guest
I
list?
mean,
Costco's
anything for
way better.
50 cents. Like,
Exactly.
do you really want to put anything into your body that costs 50 cents?
From 1 week to the next, everything changes. We start off this week with 1578, the original Gas Monkey, Richard Rawlings. Then we had 1579, Gary Clarke Jr., and a little bit of Suzanne Santos.
You mean a little bit of Gary Clarke Jr.?
Other way
Oh,
around.
I know what I
Okay.
mean. And then we had 1580, The Prodigal Son Has Returned. Andrew Schulz, who I think he's been the biggest blow up of someone who went on Rogan.
The biggest bump.
Just in general, just overall success.
I think Jordan Peterson was the biggest bump. Sorry, I don't want to slow you down.
But he was already rolling. And then we finish off with great surprise, didn't see it coming. as OG as it gets, I gotta say, 1580, one J Prince. Did not see this coming, and did not know. But I obviously came through Willie D.
It'd be nice if he had more rappers on.
Well, he wants Drake on. He said it.
We'll get to that. Hold on.
Yeah.
But let's start by just rating the week. Then we ran down that. We'll start with Simon. What do you rate the week?
Start with Kamar.
We'll start with Kamar. What do you rate the week? We'll start with me. What do I rate the week?
I give it a 2.5.
3 episodes this week?
4.
4. Car Guy, Honey Honey,
I keep
Schulz.
forgetting Honey.
Yeah, I know.
Schulz and then
And J
J
Prince.
Prince.
I think a 2.5 is.
And it's that weird thing from one week to the next. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, last week was a good week, so this week feels, maybe if you have the same guests or people that you aren't interested in what they're saying, it feels different.
I'm going to give it a 2.5, yeah.
Just like I felt the last guest this week made every other podcast seem
Oh, yeah.
lame. So it was a weird like comparison deal.
what's my average?
Why is it so important to get it right?
9 divided by 4.
2.5.
You heard him.
That's 2.5 because 4 times 2 is 8.
That's how we're doing this from now on.
Actual math, that helps for sure. I don't think it's 2.5.
You're going to do my math,
Done,
but I'm going to
done.
show you
I
just
got you.
like that.
You need to have your rating
Is
approved.
that what you agreed to? It's a 2.5?
I said 2.5, yeah.
All right.
It's a mass
on
agreement.
my sheet.
No, I can do them. No. Whatever, sure.
Is it
2.5.
close enough?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
why
next week we'll get it right.
not? There you go.
It's a mass agreement.
The sentiments there, Matty.
All right, well, let's start it off. Give your phone upside down. Come on. Super weird.
Well, you have it sideways.
Yeah.
for that
15,
panoramic. 78.
Who was first?
Richard Rawlings.
Richard Rawlings. Gas monkey, grease monkey.
Free agent.
Which, surprisingly enough, I enjoyed. I don't like talking about cars.
I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic or not.
No, here's what I liked about this podcast. I mean, they talked about a couple of things that interested me, first of all, but I liked that he was obviously, he didn't give a fuck about anything, and Joe couldn't agree with him, but he didn't disagree with it. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Let me clarify for the listeners who might be new. What Simon's saying is that he listened to a 3-hour and 30-minute podcast that he didn't really enjoy. However, towards the end of the podcast, and this is where the bias comes in, this guy mentioned that he does not believe we went to the moon,
That's what
which strengthens Simon's resolve. So let's be clear here. Simon didn't love this episode. It ended so strong for Simon that he convinced himself that the 3 hours before that was really good.
But he doesn't care about aliens.
No, I appreciated exactly like that, where he says something like that and Joe has to dance. You know what I mean? I like when Joe has to dance.
But do you like car talk?
No, I hate it. I hate it.
I
just-
don't like car talk.
I didn't like his okay, fine. Yeah, car talk I can't do.
And if we were rich, would we like car talk? I feel like emasculated that I'm not a car guy. Like I don't.
Like he's a right-wing nut, I think.
Oh,
And he was just waiting to like let it all out, and Joe wouldn't allow the dam to open. Yeah, wave that thing around.
He was,
and that's what I
teetering.
found funny, Matt. Like this, that Joe had to dance because he couldn't let this guy. It was kind of like Adam.
Adam ruins everything.
No.
Adam 22.
No.
I'm just guessing
I'm
Adam's
done.
now.
I'm done with him now.
Yeah.
His name's probably not even Adam. The first podcaster ever.
Adam Curry.
Adam Curry. Hey, it wasn't Adam. Right? Like, you know how he came on and he wanted to
go
rail
anti.
against the machine, and
yeah.
Joe had to. No.
Oh, but I felt it was more him doing the like avoiding getting into trouble with Joe or
Who?
whatever.
This guy?
Adam Curry, just to
Anyways.
put a pin in that. But the one thing is this old thinking mentality came on. Like, if there's anyone out there producing shows, like,
Dude, you're rich.
how much do you think he's worth?
I think he's worth.
15 million.
Oh, no. I think he's worth like $5.5 million.
Richard Rawlings worth $20 million.
Wow.
There we go.
And he married a billionaire's ex-wife. So she's all right for money.
The point
Why
though,
did he marry Amazon's ex-wife?
No.
There's a lot of billionaires
there's
out there.
other
There's
billionaires
more.
out there.
It's just Jeff Bezos.
But it was a
She just gave
tech
away
billionaire.
$5 billion, or something.
$6 billion.
$4
yeah.
bill. We'll get to that.
Wow.
The point is this, though, is like, I agree with you. You have $20 million. Like, we started this, we're broke. Not to say this is like a high quality thing we got going here, but my point is like with the money this guy has, he could easily do his own thing. No
Podcast
problem.
studio, start a show, fire up the YouTube channel. Because he kept like, I mean, I've got a lot of followers. Sort of that. I couldn't decide if I like this guy or I think he's a total douchebag.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as
I really couldn't tell. I mean, and the car talk, he's not guilty of anything else because Joe's just as bad.
Yeah.
With their obsession with muscle cars. But what I think helped with his attitude or opinions he wanted to air is they started getting drunk
Yeah.
over the course of the podcast, and they smoked
Joe
a joint.
broke a glass. I mean,
I think it was the first
But Joe
joint
stopped.
on air.
Joe
No.
stopped drinking.
In
Chappelle.
Texas.
Chappelle.
When they, oh, I thought it was a cigar.
And after
That's
Chappelle,
a
all the
cigar.
joints started getting lit. No, remember we said Chappelle kind of opened the floodgates.
My bad.
And Joe stopped
I'm
drinking.
not afraid to be wrong.
Like in the middle of the podcast, and that guy just kept going hard. So Joe was sober to control, and he was,
One of the craziest things is that he was a cop, paramedic, and a firefighter. And I don't remember if they talked about that part of his life
Well, I feel like to be
in the last one.
yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
You heard that?
I feel like to be a firefighter, you have to be trained as a paramedic anyway, right?
Actually, the paramedic and the firefighter,
Those kind of
that
go
makes
hand in
sense.
hand, yeah.
But a police officer
Yeah.
as well.
I mean,
Especially because cops and firefighters usually bump heads from
I
what
think
I've-
paramedics have to know a lot more than they probably have to take like the basic, and then paramedics take like the advanced.
But maybe not in Texas. They just have the
But even
base.
then, Simon, I don't think so because a lot of the times fire are the first responders, and I think they do have.
Yeah,
you're
no,
probably
that-
right. I
that
doubt
makes
they have
sense.
as much training because they have to train for all the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they have a wide range.
Oh no,
of,
you would have. You're absolutely right, because they get there if they're there before the ambulance. What, the person just dies? That's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
yeah.
they have a great deal of training, but
What
I don't know.
What I find odd, besides the fact that Americans say online, which I hear
Standing
all
online?
online, you're in line, not online. Anyways, but there are so many volunteer firefighters in the States. Like, it's crazy. And I'm not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's admirable.
I'm saying, like, a lot of these like smaller towns things are made up of just guys who.
I mean, that's how firefighting started.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of along the same lines.
Well, I mean, you would assume that your government just takes care of that shit,
Yeah.
Kind of
would
like
assume.
healthcare.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's why there you go.
You guys don't remember him mentioning he was a cop?
No,
Firefighter?
not at all.
He talked about getting shot
Oh yeah, no, I remember. No. I remember him
in a
talking about getting
drive-by shooting.
carjacked.
Carjacked and got shot. He said, I was a cop at the time. I wasn't
Oh, I don't
on
remember.
duty.
No.
Was it right at the beginning? Like, did I fast forward through this or something?
I don't know where it was. Anyways, he just touched on it.
I just want to say real quick though, I'm thinking about this inline online thing.
Okay.
If you're on the phone, you're online.
Grammatically speaking, online is probably correct. Because if you think about it, the way it works is like there would be a line on the ground that would be where you would stand. So you're on that line. You can't be in a line.
I have to disagree. I
Okay.
think a line exists. And
Because
you
the
are
people
part
are the
of
line,
that
so you're in
line,
that
so
line.
you are in that line.
Well, then I guess you
I
could
think
argue
this
for both.
imaginary line you have drawn on the ground is something non-existent. It's imaginary.
But again, there's a lot of things that we say that have to do with things in the past where like they may have had a line on the ground.
This is where I'll come to terms with you on this, okay, Matt? If there is a line drawn on the ground,
Yeah.
then you say online. No line, in line.
But just hear me out. There's a lot of things we do that with older things where they don't mean what they
Give me
mean.
an example.
Oh, here we go.
Well, no,
Well, no, but I'm trying to think of one quickly, which is going to take me
okay,
a
well,
while.
we'll
obviously.
come back to it.
Jumping the shark?
We'll circle around. Jump in the shark. Well, that's just an expression, right?
But it's kind of the
That
same.
comes from a Happy Days episode.
Online.
So that doesn't come from a Happy Days episode.
So everything has to come from Happy Days.
no,
or
it's
that's
just
it.
such a weird example to give.
Finna?
That's like a dialect thing. I don't think.
But I'm
it's,
just saying, Simon. There's a lot of things. I'm trying like.
I bet it's geographical.
I know exactly what you're saying. I'd like to know where that one comes from.
New Yorkers say inline. Southerners say online.
Well, the British do it the best.
I do not. know this.
You're in queue.
In queue.
The most
Not on queue.
The word with the most redundant letters in the world.
Not on queue.
You're in queue.
Yeah, you're in queue. You're in a line.
You're in the queue.
You're not on a line. Anyways, let's move on.
Well, then I guess if we're going with the Brits, because they invented the language, so.
I think the line that I just couldn't get around was they were talking about how the Cleveland Indians are going to change the name.
Yeah.
And he compared culturally appropriating a culture for a mascot to people not liking grape soda or grape slushies. And I was like, I'd be the first to say, well, are you really offended? But I see why it's not the best. You know what I mean? It'd be like the Chicago slant eyes or whatever you want to do. That's a friend's joke that I stole there.
Dying to get that out, eh?
But it's just not a fair comparison, and it'll be interesting.
What was the grape sodas? Sorry, I missed all of that.
They were just talking about political correctness, and he wasn't saying they should not change the name, but it was like, if it's not that, it's grape slushies, and then 10 people are coming up to your convenience store. I was like, well, it's not quite the same thing, but if that's the analogy you want to draw.
But is grape slushies because like black people drink grape slushies? I don't know.
No, I don't even think he was going. He just threw. He could have said anything.
Gotcha. Could have been anything.
Mattresses with
cappuccinos, whatever. Gotcha.
With too much froth, whatever.
I may have told the story before, but speaking of grape slushies, my dad and I, because my dad was a cop, and then he had his own like general contracting company. So this cop that lived down the street from us got my dad to finish his basement. So we worked on his basement for like 2 weeks, finishing his basement. And one day my dad was like, can you go upstairs? I put 2 bottles of Coke in the freezer for us, because it's like the middle of the summer. So you obviously want to get them colder, you throw them in the freezer. I go up, I get the Cokes out of the freezer, and no word of a lie, I open up their like fridge top freezer, and there's 2 bottles of Coke that my dad has purchased and nothing other than frozen Kool-Aid. Like, it's literally just all frozen Kool-Aid. And this cop was black. I don't know if I mentioned that.
I thought that's what you're saying. The same like grape soda.
No, so hold on. So I go downstairs, and I'm young. I'm still a teenager this time. I'm working with my dad. I'm kind of snickering to myself. My dad's like, what's fucking funny? Why are you laughing? Like, he's always grumpy. And I go, well, it's pretty funny, but like, I don't know if you noticed what's in the freezer. And he goes, what? Just say it. And I was like, it's all Kool-Aid. He's like, what's funny about that? And I was like, well, there's the stereotype that black people have Kool-Aid. He's like, I've never heard that stereotype, ever. And I go, you must have been the worst cop ever. Like, you knew nothing about nothing. Like, I don't understand how you could serve the community. Anyway, so he then is looking at me all pissed. He's like, this is bullshit. I think you're making this up. So I dead it. I think nothing of it. Like, this is a moot point now. I'm just done with it. Winston, the cop, comes back for lunch, comes downstairs to see our progress, and my dad goes, Winston, my son over here says that black people have Kool-Aid.
Where's the bus?
I'm like, what the fuck, Dad?
Under the bus.
And the best is Winston's response. He looks at me and then he looks at my dad and he goes, well, I mean, who doesn't like Kool-Aid?
Okay, and you tell me another white person named Winston. No, seriously.
I'll wait. Yeah. No, you're right.
That's neither here nor there.
But here's another good point. My dad, my half-sister, youngest sister on my dad's side.
Okay.
Her name, she's white, by the way.
Don't say her name.
Well, they named her Keisha.
Okay.
And again, I only got to see my dad every second weekend. So they have the kid. I was like, congrats, it's incredible, whatever. I can't wait to see her. Get over there 2 weeks later. What'd you guys name her? Keisha. And I went, again, I'm laughing my ass off.
And
I'm
he says, what's funny?
Yeah, I'm like, listen, your sense of humor is fucking through the roof. I love this shit. I was like, this is fucking great what we're doing here. Like, I'm so on board. Oh and he, God. Just like you said, is like, what is so fucking funny? And I was like, listen, Keisha is a black name. Like, there's no 2 ways about this. We can't.
And what did he say?
You're lying. And I said, listen, I don't know what fucking.
He sees no color.
But wait a second. Wife, not black.
Wife, very white. Debbie,
Mike, Keisha.
Floyd. And dude, if you see Keisha Floyd written down, that you're expecting a black person to show. How she's ever gotten a job? No kidding.
You would. You would.
That's not nice. But 100% you are expecting a black person.
Yeah. Other than Draymond Green, it's the blackest name on earth.
DeBrickashaw. There's new names every day in Kyler. Simon. In football.
It is. I'm sorry. That is the... Okay. this
That
because of George Floyd.
That shit looks black on
Because
paper.
of George Floyd, that is the blackest name ever.
Keisha Floyd, yeah.
Keisha Floyd.
Dude, it's nuts.
Your dad is so white.
So white.
He couldn't be whiter.
Yeah, if he tried.
Washington's pretty black too, I find.
Yeah.
As a name?
Well, I
like
told-
a first name or last?
No, last name.
My friend at nature camp, remember I told you? Wendell.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, Wendell's a very
Mr.
black.
Wendell.
You don't meet
I can't wait till someone rates. Like, you guys are racist as fuck.
They've already done that.
Yeah, it's true.
Back
to him, though,
They
sorry.
talk about souping up cars and stuff. What happened to pimped out vans? They just went away. You know what I mean? Like the shag wagon fuck trucks. Do you guys remember?
I'm
when-
getting one of those.
I think
Not
it's
a
that they're,
shaggin' wagon,
they're,
but-
they're too rapey now.
No, they're
It was before the Me Too.
you have to have it like hipstered out. That's how it's not rapey. You know what I'm saying? If you just have an old van,
Old white
you're
van.
a pedo.
Or
But if you
worse.
have like an old van that you've tricked out with like the circle back window,
window,
and
yeah.
like maybe it's a little higher in the back.
You've
and
spray painted no free candy on the sides.
I was thinking more like you have
A
like
unicorn.
a heavy metal album
Or a
cover
fucking
on the
dragon.
side, or a dragon.
Or
Exactly,
like
a heavy metal album
like
cover.
a fucking Neanderthal woman holding two saber-toothed tigers on a fucking leash.
You've seen my sketchbook.
Yeah, obviously.
That's
just-
exactly
You know what it is, Kamar? It's that Simon kind of hit the nail on the head. It's that like vans changed. Like you couldn't do that to a Dodge
the
Caravan.
The minivan came along.
That's it.
No,
Like,
you have to find
It's
yourself.
got to be that 70s square
The
van with the
SUV.
two like.
Anything you try and do to a modern van just makes you look like you've spent a lot of money on your pedomobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like you're the coolest soccer dad
no
on the fucking
windows.
block.
And if you're if you're like a modern pedophile who's putting all that money into it, like we should all be worried, you know?
Dude, I just pictured like a black and white 1940s, like, pictured here, the modern pedophile. He's just like, he's got a fresh white van,
Yeah, totally.
bags of candy.
I really wonder because there used to be vans when I was a kid. Like
They're smart shoppers. They only go out after Halloween
I
to
think
pick
the
up all the
SUV
discounted bags because they know.
The modern pedophile shops at Bulk Bar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
they're too rapey and they got screwed by the SUV.
Dude, that is not the clientele Bulk Barn is looking for. Imagine
The modern pedophile has an accountant to make sure that everything's in place.
Best selection of candy in town.
Oh man,
Did Johnny write that candy off? He better.
that's terrible. There was
Sorry,
actually
Kamar, I keep
they
cutting you
just-
off from good points from this guy.
They just announced a pedophile who lived like 4 blocks from me.
Well, he had to announce.
No, they busted him for something. So I guess he was
Oh,
already
wow.
there. I
Oh.
had never noticed, and they just busted him for something.
Shep's like, oh, Mr. Anderson with the candy.
My gymnastics teacher.
That'd be
should
too
laugh
much.
at that.
That'd be too much.
Sorry, keep going. Richard Rawlings.
Yeah,
Well,
this
there
has
was-
been a very insensitive episode for Christmas.
I don't care.
There was a weird interlude where he was trying to shit on management and Joe was trying to say how good management is because I guess Richard hasn't had the best,
Oh, like a manager.
Like they're talking about,
manager,
like their management. Yeah.
just the ride and agents and
Yeah.
the difference. And I thought it was really admirable that Joe's had his same manager for 30 years.
I wonder though if it's like, I wonder if it's one of those relationships like the things that live on a whale's back and just suck the barnacles off. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying there's scum. I'm just saying like Joe sits there and is like, this guy's been great to me. I wonder if that guy simultaneously is like, man, if it weren't for Joe, I'd be fucking nowhere in this game. You know what I mean? Like they kind of,
Oh, no,
like maybe
there
he
is.
rode Joe.
I'd like to know who his other clients are.
Well, but also, did he get those clients post Joe? Like, was it?
Well, he's been with Joe forever, so
That's
I would
what I'm
imagine.
saying. So, you know-
I think it might be a woman, Joe's manager.
Maybe.
But did you ever see the show Huge in France?
No.
Anyways, it's about this Moroccan French comedian who's huge in Paris. And they call him the Seinfeld of France. But he wants to reconnect with his kid who lives in America. And he comes over here and no one knows who he is at all.
Yeah, zero
Like,
fame.
And
Yeah,
he's trying to show people YouTube clips. Like, I'm somebody. But in some part, his agent is like, this has got to stop. Or a manager, I guess his manager, this has got to stop. You got to get back to work because I'm not eating anymore. So, I mean, you have to have other clients, but it's like we would love a business manager or anyone doing anything where they have to think about a million things, someone working for the best interest of you.
Yeah, but what I want to know is like, and again, this is why I'm not successful. Like, at what point do you decide to make that leap? Like, because you have to be bringing in enough to justify giving away a percentage.
Well, no, sometimes someone's talented enough that someone sees that I can get you to the next level and benefit from your success. Like, people get managers before they're really successful.
Like, we give away 30% of our ad money, but it's worth it because none of us have to do any fucking work for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I almost look at it like,
Well, that's the same thing as a manager.
That's the exact same thing.
but I just start to thinking like, how many 30% are there?
I know, but maybe you make a deal with like maybe Joe started with his guy at a certain thing, and then as he got more successful, that would make sense, right?
Well, listen, if we got to Joe's level, we would just hire a single person on salary to buy the ads, and then that would probably equal less than 30%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the hope, that you would just hire someone for $80 grand a
it's,
year.
It's like in business when you have an accountant. They save you what you pay them. That's how it's supposed to work.
That's
out,
your
right?
hope, yeah, that they save you
Ideally.
more than you pay
More,
them. Yeah.
that's the idea.
Well, if you at least you break even.
Yeah,
As long as you
okay.
don't pay everything by yourself. That's the idea of going to an accountant. Anyways, yeah, I just thought it was interesting how Joe's like, no, like they're the best, and he's just shitting on like CAA and.
Oh, he was very angry. He had gotten a bunch of chefs through his restaurant, and
I mean, it sounded though, if he was like, I'll say this. I think a lot of the times you don't know what people do behind the scenes. Like when he was saying, I got 30 deals and I made 29 of them. I wonder if it's like, well, did you really? Like, did they lay the groundwork for you to then make that deal? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
always,
I can't tell if I like the guy or is a douchebag.
I couldn't either, honestly. I mean, his facial hair was like,
His look is, and that Wonder Woman bracelet. Thank God Joe made fun of him for it. Did you guys have paper outs?
we talked about this, didn't we?
I did not have a paper route, but my best friend had a paper route, and I would always help him. So
But
I
we had-
kind of had a paper
You had
route.
to put inserts in the paper and walk them up. There was no throwing.
Only on the weekends did you have to put inserts in the papers.
But there was no throwing newspapers.
There's a lot of, so I used to get,
we threw a couple.
my parents used to have the Citizen delivered, and those got thrown.
It depends if
'Cause
they came elastic
wrapped,
or not.
It was wrapped in the plastic.
This is after my time.
Why did you have a paper route? Connor?
I had a paper out. Glebe.
Just that was your only street.
Glebe
Glebe?
Street was my paper
So
route.
me and Al, I would help Al all the time, and his paper route was Renfrew, Powell, Clemo. Like you only had one street.
just the highest
We
tax,
killed it.
the highest tax bracket fucking paper route
Well,
on
he
earth.
lived on Renfrew. You don't get
Hey,
a
of
paper
course.
route in a like. You're not driving
I
out
get
to
it.
Vanier to deliver paper. I mean, now you are because that's how they do it. They drive them and they throw them.
Well, no, that's
Al was
it.
making
They-
$5 a week, but at Christmas was getting tipped $50,000.
They phased,
Just fucking cleaning up.
they totally phased out the paper out.
They're so cheap with their tips, Matt.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's the opposite.
I know.
Kids don't have paper outs anymore. It's all a guy at 2 a.m.
This is what I'm
throwing
saying.
them
In
down,
a
Yeah,
car,
throwing them
always,
down.
yeah.
throwing them doesn't even get out of his car.
But when I was doing it, it was after school. It was just, I hated it.
Yeah.
I did not love it like Joe did.
I would help him because we'd want to get it done faster so we could go chill.
But Joe doesn't love it. Joe talks about it now lovingly, like you talk about any struggle you went through that you fucking despised at the time.
Well, he also said it was a good job for him at the time because he could get it done early and then he just had all his nights to do his
Sure.
And
comedy
he
or
liked
whatever.
not talking to people.
Right, because he wasn't good at talking to people back then. Remember with his whole bank teller story?
Except for the whole collection process, which was horrible. I was never good with handling money and like you collect all this money, but it's
I
not
remember you had
yours.
to like give this little
paper, then you've lost
little
paper,
receipt thing.
proof of
It was
purchase.
like perforated. It was tiny. It was weird.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
And then he started getting slurry, and we found out he's a moon denier.
Yeah, we did find out he was a moon.
but not
denier.
even the weirdest kind of moon denier. Like,
yeah, what a stupid.
like not even that.
I
like,
thought he echoed my
well, what
moon denial.
Okay, give it to me
points.
again.
well, his was just that like this isn't how man does. We don't
If
just
we'd
go
gone
there.
we'd be there a million times.
Yeah. I mean, I can appreciate that argument only because we've watched man work. You know what I mean? And the way man historically, the way it works is that we are never satisfied,
Yeah.
and we do things to the nth degree all the time to the detriment of our own planet and shit.
I can agree with you, but there's no tennis courts, there's no tropical anything. Like there's no reason for us to go build stuff on the moon. It costs so much money.
There's no tennis courts.
What I mean is like there's like vacationing up there right now.
Oh,
doesn't offer
right.
a lot.
You're assuming what it's like up there. It could be fucking Club Med for all.
Well, the
you
weirdest
know.
part is
that's where all the rich people go and spend their winters.
whoever went there first, there'd be no like economy. You know what I mean?
You can leave that down. Trust me.
Like-
Fine. We're not advertising
Well, no, that's so
for this
funny.
fuck.
I said economy, and it
Yeah, the head falls over. Yeah.
but
If it just spontaneously combusted, we know.
the first people are up there trying to build something, right?
Yeah.
So are there bars of people who work there that serve like it's
Listen, it's very
like
simple.
a
No, you got to build the bar.
brand new society without there's no money or anything up there.
Simon, I like your idea. I like that. I like the thought that, you know how the military, when they have like a ballistics thing in the desert, they'll just put up those like desert tarps so that anything flying over it just looks like the desert.
Yeah.
I like the idea that rich people just have moon tarps up there.
Yep.
It's actually plush. They've been terraforming it for
Way
years.
nicer than Earth.
He also said there's no way that the telescopes can see the flag on the moon.
Yeah, this guy. Okay, again, Mocha. I'm willing to accept just about anything, but come with something, you know?
Well, no, this is his backcountry. Fucking is what I think.
Yeah,
I'm a gas
yeah, yeah.
monkey. What do you want from me?
I have a telescope at home. I looked up there with my telescope, and I didn't see anything
Yeah.
going on up there.
No American flags. Couldn't find one.
When he asked him, "Do you think about aliens?" He's like, "When I jerk off." I mean, that was just his position. But would it be cool?
Which is also very odd.
I know.
Which I-
Why do you think about aliens when you jerk off?
I think he's just trying to be funny.
I know. Come on.
Would it be cool to have a satellite that does circle the moon that could see these things?
Well, who's putting it up there?
We are,
You, me, and Matt?
the world, the planet,
Like, you're going to count on Elon to do that?
anyone.
Again, Kamar, this is my
NASA.
thing is like,
Yeah, right.
NASA has to have a reason to do that.
Well, they're planning on sending someone around the moon in like 3 years, Canadian, I believe, and that one day is one thing. Might as well get it started.
He comes back. He's like, yeah, it's there, eh? I seens it.
Before 3 years from now, Kamar, we're going to have gotten like some sort of
Proof of aliens.
disclosure where
Wow.
your
Timestamp it.
view on the moon is going to be altered because we're going to know that they've already been up there, you know?
But
I'm telling you, every week,
3 years, 3 years. That's all right. I can wait.
every week they come out with something new. It's dude, trust me, they're just preparing you.
The
This
point,
is how they
the
roll.
point being, though, is we know there's so many satellites around the planet
We think, yep.
that astronaut claim there's a massive amount of space junk up there. There's so many satellites. I just think there's nothing wrong with the satellite around the moon. The satellites that we just launch into who knows where. Don't you think that's reasonable?
Again, reasonable is not the question. It's like if it costs you, like let's say you have a business, you're a businessman, and you decide I want to send a satellite to the moon. It's going to cost $250 million. What's your return on investment there?
The YouTube channel, the live feed.
The YouTube channel.
Well, China just came back with moon rocks, like the biggest haul of moon rocks ever, allegedly. It makes sense.
It's a bunch of petrified
I was
wood.
just going to say it's wood the Americans left up there.
There would
Fucking
be
show them.
a reason to have a satellite
left up
that's spun
there,
around
left
the
in the
moon.
desert at Cape Canaveral.
Whatever.
If you had fuck off money, well, I know your answer, Omar, would you take a vacation flight in space?
Never.
You don't mind flying, though?
No, I don't like flying at all.
You do not like
I
flying.
don't like
but not
flying
to
at all.
Simon's degree.
But like you like enclosed spaces, you like the idea of being in a thing where there's like no real air.
the
like,
thrill of flying has decreased every flight I do. But the first time I ever went on a plane, I thought it was super exciting. But it's just when you go on a plane for 12 hours.
I
it's
used to like flying.
Okay.
When I was like a kid and we went to Florida, I didn't care at all. It was fun. You got to eat a meal, you got to watch a movie. There was no waiting in the airport. There was no threats of people taking your plane and flying them into buildings that you know?
Yeah, they just crashed.
Yeah, they just crashed, man.
Oh, I'm
just by their own fucking incompetence.
no, but I hate flying.
Money's not an object.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Private-
matter. You
private
pay
flight.
$500,000 to see the curve of the Earth. allegedly.
Yeah, no, I'd be much more interested in going to Egypt or Machu Picchu or something on Earth.
Well, you have so much money, it's not in lieu of. You can do that as well.
Yeah, no.
My favorite thing, though, is that I could see Simon mustering up the courage, being on Ambien or whatever the fuck it is, getting up there, seeing the curve, and still going,
Mocha.
exactly.
I can't see the other side. Well,
No, I mean, that would help. That would help
the thing
cement a
is-
point of view, no pun intended.
Kamar, apparently you don't even have to do that. You can go to Dubai and you can go to the top of the Burj Al Khalifa or whatever the fuck it's
Burj
called.
Khalifa.
Yeah. And if you are there, you can see the curve of the earth
Is
slightly.
it Burj Khalifa?
I don't believe
Sounds a lot
Burj.
like Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, well, Khalifa's an Arabic.
Anyways, is it?
Inevitably, this one of those things is gonna, like, a bunch of people are gonna die in space.
Also, fun little flat earth thing. If Simon were to stand at the bottom of the Burj and I were to stand at the top and we both had walkie-talkies, he will say the sun has set for me, and 15 minutes later, I will say the sun has set for me.
Well, I mean, that would make sense.
Can you see it
If
from
the earth is curved, yeah.
Yeah.
Everest?
I don't-
Height isn't the issue.
Height's the issue, but Everest is a
You're too
mountain
high.
range, so you need like a plane, right?
You need
That's the beauty of Dubai
horizon.
Dubai is a flat, it's desert.
It's an illusion.
It's a mirage. That's what you were looking for.
Thank you. It is the desert. And then there was a rich point where Jamie looked something and Joe's like, these damn pop-up ads. And I was like, really, Joe? Really? Who are your
A
pop-up
little too
ads,
close
eh?
to home for you, Kamar?
And Joe, I can relate. And then he started joking, he tried to do a joke about legalized drugs. We said, Oregon, you can have cocaine in your pocket, but straws are illegal. Implying that he had his day with
Needs a straw to use cocaine.
cocaine whenever it was. And I started doing you're a cop to 27. Did you
Listen,
stop being a cop?
I know so many cops that have done coke, that do coke, that have drinking problems.
I was just wondering about the overlap there.
I saw the best meme the other day ever. It was like, I never would have thought I'd be smoking pot at a family gathering, and the family gathering would be the illegal part.
Yeah, that was awesome. I
Yes,
saw that
that's
too.
a good meme.
Fucking incredible.
And then
The
they
internet wins again.
Yeah.
they finish off with a real great story close to home.
Which was?
The guy smuggling $190,000 worth of gold out of his ass.
Oh, yeah, from the mint.
That happened on Sussex.
Yeah.
Well, the funniest was Joe couldn't get over it. And I was like, Joe, he didn't do it all in one.
22 times he did.
Yeah. And then I started thinking too, I was like, gold's worth a lot. So it's really, you're not stuffing that much up your ass.
It was a couple of ounces every time.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
But it was Jamie reading from a British magazine, but it made me feel really like...
I laughed
I know.
out
I
loud.
didn't like they were talking about the Canadian mint in pounds. I was like, we don't fucking use pounds.
Well, no, in that article they would have said...
They
where
were
it was,
translated for the fucking
it was
Brits.
$190,000 Canadian. If they talked about in the States, they said it was $140,000 in gold. But...
Sorry. My heart goes out to all the Brits out there dealing with their new COVID.
yeah, good luck out there. Our prayers are with you.
monstrosity,
We're
yeah.
all going to get through this together, though. But
and stay in your country.
he just couldn't get his numbers right, eh?
Who?
Rawlings, his
No,
math.
it was just
his math really
It was
fell
like
apart
me
there.
for sure.
It was absolutely like you.
See, I don't even try though. This guy kept trying to do the math like he could work it out in his head, and Joe was like, "Yeah, no, we're going to the calculator on this one."
And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he had a couple pops in him and a joint.
You think usually he's a math wizard?
He must be good at something for success. Like,
I got to tell you, though, drinking doesn't help. Like, I can't tell you how many times 4 drunk bartenders stood over a cash and all got different numbers. You know what I mean? Like, okay, hold on.
cognitively. And I think in this episode he mentioned Alpha Brain. Which,
Joe?
He asked if it really works.
Which hadn't been mentioned in a long time.
Well, Joe, again, backed it up big time.
Well, he loves saying double-blind placebo.
Yes, he really does. Rolls right off the tongue.
Maybe that's the most important thing.
That's
in
a
the world.
great band name.
Yeah,
eh?
Double Blind Placebo. Yeah.
That's really
Till
good.
placebo fucking sues you.
What was our band name?
Placebo is not a brand name, Kamar.
No,
It's not like Kleenex.
What was our band name? Upstream Basket Babies. That's what it was.
Whose band was that?
You and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When did we do this?
Oh, years ago.
Upstream Basket Babies.
Yeah.
Why?
This is when I was like living with
Yeah,
Greg.
but
I
why?
couldn't remember.
Okay.
Dude,
It was
I'm
from
amazed that I pulled it.
something,
Yeah,
though.
of course. Yeah.
But I don't know what. Somebody sent their baby down. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And then around all those tops we just talked about, there was just too much car talk.
Yeah.
Too much souping up cars and
Like the fact that we gave this thing
value.
50 minutes, even though we had a 15-minute intro about nothing.
It's like a money thing, and I ended up watching the truck they talked about, and it came out pretty nice.
It's hard, right? Like, you know, when you're whoever you are doing whatever you are, trying to pay things.
But
and they're talking about like buying a muscle car. You can't drive it in the winter. I mean, they don't have winter, but it's just so impractical. It's nothing but
Here, it's insane.
just in general, though,
oh
right?
no,
It's-
I mean, if you're gonna buy that, you're gonna have a garage. and
Exactly.
you're gonna-
It-
My
it's-
my stepdad has a 69 Mustang, mint, convertible, red.
Yeah.
They bought a house where he had to have a separate, like their old house, he put in a lift in the garage so he
don't-
could lift it up. Like
you don't
it's-
go
this
muscle
thing has
car
cost
poor
him.
and live out of
That's
it.
exactly, yeah.
Did you guys? I was talking about.
exactly.
You're living in a Walmart parking lot in Eleanor in the middle of the winter.
In your muscle car?
That's,
750 horses.
like if I put this curling iron up against the roll cage, I find it really warms the whole car up. Actually,
Did you guys rewatch Carlito's Way after I talked about it?
no.
You can cook your microwave dinner in like 2.9 seconds on the radiator.
Yeah, just-
give it one
just
rub.
rub.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry,
there's a badass muscle car in that.
in what, Kamar?
Carlito's
Carlito's
Way.
Way.
That his nephew drives. It's like a 2-door, but almost
yeah.
and with flames on it. But Joe never mentions that
I've
one.
been scared to watch it. I keep seeing it right there, but who told me last week that it
Kamar.
won't live up? And I don't
I
wanna
forgot that
ruin it
Sean
for
Penn
myself.
plays
Sean
that
Penn-
greasy
I totally
lawyer.
forgot too.
Sean Penn's pretty good. In
Yeah.
it.
Anyway, we got to end this guy because we've given him way
Well,
too
no,
much time.
I didn't think we were going to give him too much, but I
Done
wanted to
deal.
do the movie game because I thought a great movie game would be John Wick.
Oh, fun.
Because, I mean, Joe talks about it ad nauseum, and it's sort of one of those, I don't even guess what year it came out.
I was about to watch it this morning.
the first one.
Yeah, instead I watched Hellboy 2, which is not that
Excellent.
bad. It was okay.
It's the movie game.
Felt like a terrible was coming out of your mouth there.
but I didn't finish it, so I didn't want to.
Where Matt and Simon go
was trying
head
to
to head to
hold
find
myself
out what
back.
year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing a John Wick. Starring, oh no, I'm not in there yet.
Okay, I got it.
Obviously starring Keanu Reeves, Michael Nyquist, Alfie Allen, Adrian Palicki.
Okay, whatever. What
Richard
year do you have?
Moynihan.
2009.
I have 2012.
Release date, 2014.
Wow. 3 movies in 6 years. That's impressive, right?
That's what I was thinking too. I did the same
I
thing.
thought, come on, it's got to be a decade for 3
No, because I knew in my head I was like they were churning them out pretty quick. So that's why I said 12,
Yeah,
right? I
no,
figured
you were-
8 years,
you-
like
you were
every
good.
2 years, 2.5 years kind of deal.
And this is the first one.
Yeah, of course. Well, we're not doing a fucking sequel. Get out of here. This is going to be tough, man. This
Yeah.
is going to be real
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was a good one to pick and nip it in the bud there. Starring our favorite Keanu Reeves.
I'm ready. I just threw some shit at the wall here.
Yeah, okay,
So-
let's go. I'm ready.
all right. I said it cost $40 million to make, and it grossed 236.4.
And I said 30 million to make and 121.
Budget, $30 million.
Whoa.
Did you bang that out? Bang
Yeah,
on.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
Box office, $86 million.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's pretty good for Simon.
It is a success.
I was way off.
And I don't think there was a lot of hype about it. Just sort
But
of
meanwhile,
word
2
of mouth.
sequels.
I bet the sequels did way
I
better.
bet the sequels did way better. And that's the the official movie game. Now let's play the official movie game, and we'll start with Keanu Reeves.
Oh my God, I was going to be a dick there, but I won't. We'll just say The Matrix.
The Matrix. Jesus Christ.
So easy. Come on, dude.
Yeah, the pill.
African American.
Oh, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne. Thanks, man.
I thought I threw you a softball
Well,
there,
because
but
I
you
was
then
thinking
were.
of the guy who eats the steak.
then
but I
acted
don't
like
know
a-
who his name is.
His name is.
You might need it. Hold on.
Okay.
King of New York.
King of New York. Oh, Christopher Walken.
True Romance.
Oh, that opens up the fucking floodgates, baby.
Dennis Hopper.
Lowrider.
No, Easy Rider.
Easy Rider. Sorry, Lowrider. Fucking moron.
Peter Fonda.
Oh, now we're being dickish.
That's the only.
I know.
Oh, no, sorry. Jack Nicholson. There you go.
I could have played with Peter, though.
Such a great movie, by the way.
Watch it again. So slow.
Watch it on mushrooms.
Okay,
Amazing.
different story, but just saying, that movie is slow.
Batman.
Who was the actor you had there?
Jack
Oh, Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson. Okay. Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Okay. Michael Keaton was in.
Hot potato. Keep
Jesus
it up.
Christ. Oh, Condor Man. What was that called?
Birdman.
Ed Norton.
Ooh,
I know where I want you to
Rounders.
go. Yes.
Rounders. So Matt Damon.
Good Will Hunting.
I was hoping you'd say fucking Team America. Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Okay, this is going too long. This will be a 9-hour podcast. We're
Here,
getting good at this.
I'm gonna end it.
Okay.
Good Morning Vietnam.
Who's his producer? Gary Sinise. No, I think I failed there. That was a good one, though.
You know what's fucking insane is I've probably watched that movie more than any other movie ever in my life.
What? Good Morning,
Vietnam.
Wow. Why?
When I was like 6, I could recite every single time he was on the radio. My parents made me do it at dinner parties. It was like a party trick.
Interesting.
I remember they woke me up one night drunk. Come downstairs.
I think you told us this the other day, actually. Yeah.
Weird, huh? Weird
Yeah,
movie
that
for a
is
6-year-old
weird.
to be
Well,
fucking.
It's not so weird after knowing your dad. So
It would have
there's
been
a lot, yeah.
Forrest Whitaker.
Yes, Forrest Whitaker. That's correct. Yeah, we could have gone a lot of places from there. The Crying Game. Let's rate this guy, please, or the episode.
This was a journey for me. I give it a 3. I'll give it a 3 because I like the moon denial stuff, and I just can't decide if I liked him or not.
This was going to be. I thought this was going to be a 1. I'm giving it a 2.5 because it was better than I expected.
And I gave it a 3 because as much as I didn't like it, I found it very entertaining.
Fair enough.
I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic when you wrote
Because
that.
we're not rating the guy, we're rating the episode.
Yeah. Can I say for the record too? I tried to go back and listen to Simon giving Killer Mike a 5, and I could not find the ratings. I think what Simon did was he gave Killer Mike a 5.
That's what I did. You're absolutely right. I did not give the episode
I don't
a
think
5.
he gave
I
the
gave
episode a
Killer
5.
Mike
That's
a 5.
what I'm saying.
That was back when we were still kind of
Well, this is a thing.
mixing
This is
around
not
with rating
confirmed,
people.
so-
I tried to confirm
Okay.
it. I tried to go back.
nice.
I actually
That's
took
nice that
like
you
a
did
half
that.
hour and listened to it. I was skimming through and I could
Listen,
not.
I'm pretty confident I've never given a rating of
I'm
a 5.
solid that you haven't, but I thought about it after and I was like, Simon used to do this thing where he would rate the person.
Yeah.
And I was like, he definitely gave Killer Mike a
I'd
5.
circumvent the system.
All right, let's move on to the next one
Yep.
real quick.
Yeah. What's the next? Oh,
It's
well,
Honey
we're
Honey.
going to breeze through this.
15,
Can we please
79.
breeze through this?
Matt, I will give this 1 minute if you want. I hate when he has Honey Honey on.
I hate it too.
It's not even honey.
And here's the problem, because I like him and I don't hate her. It's just like once every 4 years, once every 6 years.
Gary Clarke Jr. seems like he'd be a chill guy on his own.
Yes, I want Gary Clarke Jr. and
Sans Santos.
there's something I don't like, and a lot of people are guilty of it, are people who laugh at everything they say.
At their own jokes.
At their own jokes, at their own things, everything. Like,
Guilty.
it's overkill, though. And I was hoping once Gary left that Joe gave her the Brendan Schaub speech.
Time to hang it up, honey.
What are we
Maybe start a
doing?
podcast.
What are we doing
What do you
here?
mean? He thinks she's she is talented. That's not the.
Lots of girls can sing.
Brendan Schaub was talented too.
She sounded awful with the song she sang with Gary Clarke. Like, she sounded awful. The second song she sang, I appreciate a lot more. But at the end of it, she's like, I should practice more. It's like, you've been trying to be a musician for 19 years. Like,
I mean, listen, I'm a terrible musician. I could never judge somebody. She seems like a really good musician to me. I hate when they sing on the podcast, period. Like, that really kind of like throws me for a fucking loop.
Yep.
when they're singing on Joe Rogan. And that, like, again, back to Lex, who you listen to his podcast, total professional in every regard, and then he comes on Joe's and sings, you know?
But if you couple the push she's had from Joe, it should equal a modicum of... No, famous. I don't know what she wants, but, like, she's still a struggling artist. Like, I don't want to talk about it.
You know what I think the problem is, Kamar, though, is like if Joe co-signs you in comedy, a la Schulz, it's a little bit different than if Joe co-signs you in music. Because if you're an avid listener of Joe's podcast, you probably know that, like, musically, I just don't look at him as like a dude that's like really hip to the jive. Or
I'll agree with Kamar here, and I think this is maybe what you were striving at, is if she was if she had only been on once and like you don't get that bump you're looking for, I would get that.
She's been on like 6 times.
To be on so many times, if you're correct and she's struggling, which I don't know that to be a fact, you know what I mean? Is she struggling? She seems to be living like a really kind of cool bohemian life.
I think she parties too much and doesn't.
Do you think she wants to be like rich and famous? I didn't get that from her.
She was talking about, I want to be successful so I can have a cryo chamber and do all these things. Like, she clearly is struggling for money. Like, after 17 years as a musician.
If you're Joe and you know, she's obviously like a really good friend of his, just throw her $1 million, man. It's nothing for Joe.
Just throw her $1 million.
I don't think...
Listen to me, Maddie.
Simon, if I'm struggling right now. Would you give me 10% of your money?
No.
No, but that doesn't work.
Because I have nothing,
okay,
dude. Matt, if I had... What did Joe make off the thing?
Well, you say more than 100 million, but the internet says 100
If
million.
I had 100 million and you were struggling, I would give you enough so that you wouldn't struggle. With 100 million... Like with 1 million, you don't get shit from me. You know what I mean?
But Simon, just hear me out.
Million?
Hear me out, though. It's a dangerous if you're in Joe's position, it's a very dangerous precedent.
But again, the way I kind of feel like they're real friends.
Play this out, though, Simon.
Yeah.
She was like, hey, you know what? This is going to be some money. You don't have to worry about shit anymore. You can really do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And she fucks it all up.
I don't think she would, man.
No, it's just... if she becomes massively successful, great. She tosses $1 million back or whatever. But
I mean, I'm kind of with Kamar though. Hold on,
crazy. You're right. You're right. It doesn't make any sense.
He's done everything in his power to put money in her pocket.
Even with 100 million, I'm not giving you anything. Like, that's crazy.
I know. Don't worry, Simon. I'm well aware. I love how you go. If I have $1 million, you get nothing. This guy.
No, because I'm just illustrating.
I love that if I'm struggling, Simon's got $1 million. He's just watching me like, well, listen, this guy should have been smarter.
I wouldn't. That's exactly my point. Like, I don't know. That's why I don't think she's actually struggling. I don't think Joe, knowing who he is, knowing what a big heart he has, I just don't think he would.
Let's keep in mind,
she was
though, a lot of
living
people,
in her muscle car. I don't think she would.
A lot of people don't want handouts, though, right? Like, they don't necessarily.
She's living in her car, and Joe gives her a
fresh muscle car.
Here, take this Tesla.
I buy you a new house.
This is like living in a smart house.
maybe he would help finance her album or something like that. Like,
But here's the thing. But wait,
just to give money.
But this is what I'm saying is, like, the exposure he's given her, if she was truly a top tier musician, and I don't mean any disrespect, she's obviously a great musician, and so is Gary Clarke Jr. I'm not taking.
Well, no, they're not in the same.
Yeah,
he's a far better musician.
I get it, but what I'm saying though is not to take away from either of them. You know, the music game is fickle. They obviously have had ample opportunity to make it. I don't think they lack studio space.
No, they had a big label behind Honey Honey.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's
been around.
It's just sometimes you just don't hit, and that's okay.
Here's the big question, I guess. We listen to Joe Rogan, so Honey Honey is in our lexicon.
Yeah.
If we didn't listen to Joe Rogan, would we ever have heard, or
never.
would we ever hear about Honey Honey? Would they even be like?
And that's their problem if they want to. I guess they're not together.
But they're not
anymore.
even a band right now. So
you know what? You actually just brought up the best fucking point that I never even thought of. Is like it's just the wrong audience altogether. The exposure she's getting is nowhere near
the Live Fair or wherever she's the ears or eyes she's got to get to.
That's the point. Like hunters, fight bros, science people, hip hop. Like none of these people are gonna listen to Honey Honey,
but they'll all listen to Gary Clarke Jr.
They might. They'd be more likely to listen to Gary Clarke Jr. But I'm saying is I just don't see this as being her niche audience. And maybe that's the problem, is that she could go on Joe Rogan 10 times.
And it's just every time she's on, and no disrespect, it just seems like the same episode.
I agree.
She's still struggling, constantly struggling.
I don't focus on the struggling.
COVID is, I do. Well, the most awkward part was when they were talking about Miley Cyrus.
I thought that was kind of cool.
It was sort of like, give Miley a call, like, write a song with her. Or, like, what are we doing here?
If she said Honey Honey was good, then they would be famous.
I think her songs are like too deep, and she needs to write a hit if she wants to. You know, just a popular song. That's sort of catchy. Not always the same.
I couldn't even, I don't know one Honey Honey song. I don't know.
But you know Miley Cyrus song.
It came in like a wrecking ball is my favorite.
You know Dolly Parton?
I do know
Dolly Parton is an amazing talent. Right? She wrote I'll Always Love You when she's like 27. Susan's 35.
Dude, listen.
Are you comparing her to Dolly Parton and you're
Why
like,
not?
Dolly Parton is amazing and she sucks?
Dolly Parton was like a star at 19 and not.
I'll give an
on.
example, though. Someone sent me a clip, I think last year, of these two little German girls on like a German version of The Voice for Kids. And they're singing Creep from Radiohead. And one of them's playing the piano. And honestly, it's like, it's moving their performance. So my point is, like, there's two little girls in Germany that you've never fucking heard of that, no disrespect to Susan Santos, are clearly more talented than her. That's how the music industry works. It doesn't work on talent. It doesn't work on...
Well, the guy who cleans lighters in silence is more talented than her. 50 million views. No, I think I would like to see her skills if she did a cover. But that's just me. And then I can decide, okay, I get it. But she just sings these morose sort of haunting ballads. I mean, she doesn't suck, but I wonder what the problem is. She's had everything possible for her.
To me, the better question is not, or thing to focus on is not whether or not she's famous or not famous. It's just, how does she keep getting on Rogan?
Well, he loves her. That's great.
I just don't believe, I refuse to believe she's struggling that hard.
That's what I don't, I think she's living like I said, a kind of cool bohemian lifestyle. I don't think she needs a lot. She doesn't have kids.
Last month, she was driving through Malibu bawling her eyes out. I mean, she felt better after, but...
don't you drive around in your car just crying? I do it all the time.
Never, ever, ever. Anyways, I
all the time.
I was concerned about discussing this podcast.
If you ever see me driving down the street, like, take a good look at what's going on.
I knew this wouldn't come out right. There's no easy way to say it.
Listen, I texted Simon when the car guy came out.
What's going on here? Are you like, what are you talking about?
I'm just talking to the audience.
No easy way to say what?
That he doesn't like.
What do you want to say about this? Like,
he's shitting on a woman. He's shitting on a female musician, and we've already done our best to alienate a lot of people this episode.
I tried to look it away, but I was like, I cannot look like a good person if I discuss this episode.
I texted Simon on Tuesday, and I was like, this car guy, my life sucks. I don't want to listen to this. And then Honey Honey came out, and I was like, this has to be a fucking, some sort of evil joke.
It felt taxing, and like, what the fuck did I do?
But the car guy ended up being entertaining. Yeah. So you were like,
this did not end up being entertaining.
No, but you knew it wasn't going to. This is where you wish for like a 7 times button.
Well, maybe if he had given her the Brendan Schaub.
And let's keep in mind to the listeners, well, that would have been
That's
really
weird.
interesting.
That sounds like a
of course
sex
not.
move.
I'm trying to be mean and funny.
Hey?
Give the Brendan Schaub.
Yeah. We're talking shit here. Have you ever thought of getting out of the music industry?
That's the next time.
She's like, well, I did knock out Mirko Krokop.
She literally was talking about how she lives in an apartment and she's scored cheap rent. Like, she's a struggling musician. And probably the majority of them are.
So Joe has said Brian Callen's name a couple of times now. Like, that at least is it. But still, zero.
I was going to mention it on the post show, but Brian's back on the internet now.
Well, he's been doing a show with Sam the whole time.
Well, that was a Patreon strictly, but he's now started a channel and been posting for the last 3 weeks. So
trust.
He's getting after it. But yeah, I have nothing to say about this podcast. Sorry, guys.
Okay, well then can we rate it and be done?
She did acid and it freaked her out.
Gets a 2.
She did acid and freaked her out. Was that one last note you had there?
Well, no, that was how it started.
No, what did I get?
There's no fucking way you give this. I give this a 1.
I give this a 1, and I give Gary Clarke a 5. He's such a chill guy, though, man. He's so nice.
He's awesome, man.
Yeah, more Gary Clarke.
She should work with him. There's something. And maybe if she was 10 years in, I'd be like, yeah, hey, it's like 20 years.
Who was the third one?
The Schulz, baby.
Oh, I have this
You have your
all
numbers
fucked
twisted.
up. Yeah, I have this all fucked
But
up.
we'll probably take a
3
break.
is wrong on one. You have all your numbers totally fucked up.
Yeah.
You
But
try-
it's the right numbers. It's this one gets a 1.
Yeah.
In agreement up in this motherfucker.
You all right? You nearly shit yourself.
No, I was trying to make a funny voice.
All right, I like it.
It was really funny. I was doing what he did, but
I got
doing
you.
it his
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Oh, they know.
All right, we are going to take a break. We're going to pay some bills, and we'll be back with the second half real soon. Guys, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp.com. What interferes with your happiness? Are you feeling depressed? You feel anger? Maybe it's anxiety, stress eating away at your life. Maybe it's a self-esteem issue. Do you feel like there's something preventing you from achieving your goals? I know for me, I had a wicked drinking problem in my 20s, and it would have been nice if there had been someone there to help. Luckily, I overcame it, and I can tell you right away, I feel much better. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own professional licensed therapist. It's so convenient. You can connect in a safe and private online environment. You can usually start communicating with someone in under 24 hours. So that's good. You'll get that timely and thoughtful help that you need. This is not a self-help website. It is professional counseling. You can send a message to your counselor at any time. As well, you can schedule weekly and video phone sessions. We know that during COVID, the last thing you want to do is be going into a doctor's office, sitting in a waiting room, putting on the mask. No one wants that. That's where BetterHelp is perfect. It's all done online, super convenient. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and they offer financial aid, and they're available worldwide, which is wonderful. There's also a broad range of expertise available, which may not be available locally in many areas. You never know. You may live in a rural area. They may not have a specific type of counselor that you're looking for. So that's where BetterHelp also comes in handy. They offer licensed professional counselors who are specialized in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem. Guys, you name it. That's a lot of checked boxes. Anything you share is, of course, confidential. The website is convenient, professional, affordable. They do have testimonials on their website if you want to go check it out. They have so many people using BetterHelp right now that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. So also, if you're a counselor and you're having tough times during COVID, maybe head over to BetterHelp and see if you can get yourself a job. You never know. If you want to start living a happier life today, as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/JREE. Join over 1 million people taking charge in their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JREE for your 10% discount off your first month. Guys, go check them out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sponsors. And thank you, everyone, for listening.
1580?
1580.
I saw it on your phone. I cheated.
Andrew motherfucking Schulz.
What I was trying to say
Schulz.
about him is, like, there's been
Schulz to me.
There's no T.
there's been a lot of comedians.
There's a T.
No, there's no T.
Because if there was a T, he'd be Jewish.
It's Schulz.
Yeah, Schulz. That's
There's been a lot of comedians on. No one has had the success, like going from a relatively unknown, getting on Rogan, and it's credit to his work ethic.
I wasn't a fan of his special, though, I gotta say. I watched it last night, and I like Andrew Schulz. I like
Too many alliterations.
First of all, there's just too many jokes. It's hard to like laugh because by the time you start, you're lost.
And you're
you
trying
know?
to figure some of them out.
Also, like I get he wanted to do something different with his special, but Andrew Schulz's comedy, like when he's in a comedy club, is so fucking funny. It's like you're missing out on that through this internet YouTube thing. I don't know. And again, this is coming from a huge fan, you know?
You're not a fan.
Just dead air.
Did you see the special?
I didn't watch the special, no.
But you've seen his YouTube thing?
Yep. I'm
Where
aware
he
of it.
like turns.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exactly
Now
that
tilt your
in
phone to the
four
side, yeah.
in 4 parts. So it's that exact thing.
Listen, like I said, he's growing up. I like him more as a person now. I've seen some of his like crowd work stand up on YouTube, and it's pretty good. I don't know. I'm still not there yet.
This special that he put out is like a newer medium that I'm not really. It's almost like Philip DeFranco. Yeah, he does it one cut, which is the skill, and like he said, hundreds of hours a week.
It's
like,
so hard, I imagine.
It looks like he could have thrown it together, but he wasn't. He was gracious and how people help, but I just don't think I like that.
No, that's where I'm at.
I do laugh at memes, and I did love his jokes, but it was like alliteration, which just shows when you deliver stuff. But like you say, he wasn't doing it like the late night hosts who are trying to do shows in pause, where there should be laughs. It's just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And listen, he did a great job for what it was. I would have rather seen a comedy special, like it's your first one. Let's just see. So we can put that up against the best.
Obviously, maybe if there wasn't COVID, he might have done a special if he'd been offered that.
I love how he said Netflix was going to die in 5 years, and here we are. Yeah,
he came around and admitted.
Yeah, it's all the power to him.
But what do they talk about? Is there anything that compares to like New Yorker pride? Like we don't have that here in Ottawa. We're not like we're Ottawans. Like we make the city.
613.
Well, first of all, Ottawans sounds fucking ridiculous.
I don't even know that's what it is, but there's
that's it.
It's Ottawatonians.
It's Ottawans.
I believe it's Ottawans. I believe it's Ottawans.
I don't like Ottawans. But actually, it kind of sounds like a Jedi. I don't hate it.
Okay.
Nothing
like Padawan,
compares to New York City pride.
That's what you think? What about Texas pride?
Yeah, that rivals
that
it.
compares.
But it's like...
What about Boston pride?
Boston, I would say, but when you say Texas pride, I'm saying New York City, not New York State.
Right.
I'm sure people in
There's
Jersey
no
are
Syracuse
proud. Americans
pride.
are all proud.
Rochester, what? Lockport's Gambino Ford. Push, pull, or drag it in. We'll give you at least $5,000.
Is that where that's from?
What?
Lockport and Gambino? That Lockport's in
Lockport's Gambino
State?
Ford, yeah. Oh.
That was a commercial we saw forever, right?
Yeah, on Buffalo, WUTV, Fox 29.
Like, you might be too young, but do you remember there was something that always came on with like a river, and then it would tell you about like not Waterloo.
PBS. It was the PBS ad.
Was it PBS?
Yeah, I think it was,
okay.
yeah.
Anyways.
It would be a water tower, right?
Watertown and Waterloo.
Watertown.
Yeah. Where we'd always go shopping at the outlet malls.
That's right. Yeah.
But there's not like LA pride.
That's not true. You're dead wrong.
No one's from LA though.
There's still a ton of LA pride. Yeah, there's a lot of LA pride.
There was a lot of LA pride. Just went out the window.
I think everywhere has pride. I think you're wrong.
Not like New York, I don't think. But just he was talking about, Joe's predicting
that New
fire
York.
and brimstone. And
right.
He's saying, it's just New Yorkers, and we're the best people in the world.
Well, he didn't sound like he was leaving New York anytime soon.
I'm telling you, New York's not going away.
Like, no. I'm saying Schulz didn't.
No, I know. Yeah, he's from there.
He said he'd wait and see.
I mean, if you're a comedian and that's your life, I'd imagine it would be hard to like just pack up and move out to like Watertown,
Or anywhere.
As good as the shopping
anywhere
is.
near an airport.
As good as the shopping is.
It was interesting then. I like Andrew Schulz because he'll bust balls.
Yeah.
Like a New Yorker would. And after last week's episode with Van Zeller, he was giving the rails about the Mexican supplements. And like Joe's full on in. Like
Lay this all out for me.
He could have added TRT,
he's
PPC 30. And
Joe's on a lot of steroids.
Schulz is like, yeah, but you don't know what you're really doing. It's like, no, I talked to doctors. Joe could have expanded a lot more. We were talking about last week, how she sort of skirted around and didn't pull too much about him. Mm-hmm. I appreciate Andrew Schulz making fun of him for it. And then it was very interesting when he asked him if he would fight Jake Paul. And he said, I think Jake Paul would kick his ass. Which Jake Paul has...
Jake Paul would kick Joe Rogan's ass?
In a boxing match, that was said. And just...
I don't think so. I think Joe was being very, very modest. I think in any sort of fight, wrestling, anything.
Boxing. We're talking about a boxing match. Joe can't kick. Joe's 53.
I still think that Joe has better hands than Jake
This
Paul.
is the key to the whole discussion is it's boxing. Like Jake Paul now has challenge Conor McGregor, but it'd be to a boxing match. And all these guys, it's a boxing match. He's not.
Well, did you not see what? Did you just not see Bisping?
Bisping, apparently he reached out to him. He'll fight him. That'd be great.
Bisping's gonna fight Jake Paul.
He said he's down.
So quietly, what happened was Jake Paul's management reached out to Michael Bisping and asked if he'd fight. So Bisping went on his podcast and was like, "You don't want this. Don't be sending these things out." He's like, "I'll fight you."
No, this is awesome. I definitely want to see that. Bisping isn't Joe Rogan. Bisping is a fucking killer. I don't care how many years he's been retired now. He will fuck the shit out of that kid.
That's what he said.
And
he
you
said,
will want to watch that.
I will definitely want to watch that.
This is what we're talking
Michael
about.
Bisping said, "I'll give you. You won't last one round." And then he said, "I'll give you 3 because it's a ring and you never know what happens." But he said you'd never make it past the 3rd round.
Professional
with me.
fighter, podcaster. Done deal.
But this is the thing. These guys, I don't know if it's genius or just dumb luck, but they are transitioning themselves to get
it's-
respect
But did you see what
from the
Jake-
world.
Genius, and it's just to skip ahead to the Paul. What was that guy's
Mayweather?
name? No.
Who? Jake
Prince Paul.
Jay Prince.
Jay Prince. Sorry. They talk about them setting up that like it's all contrived. You know what I mean?
Well, did you see what?
Promotion
It's a
and
money
creating
game,
the beef.
yeah.
Did you see what Jake Paul did to Brendan Schaub and Dylan Dennis?
Nope.
So Brendan Schaub was interviewing Dylan Dennis for what is it, Under the Belt or Food Truck,
No,
whatever
yeah.
the one
Below
is.
the belt.
No, it's not below the belt. It's
Food Truck
Food
Diaries.
Truck. Where they is that what it's
Truck
called?
Diaries. Thank you.
So I guess he's interviewing Dylan Dennis for Food Truck Diaries in LA, and Jake Paul pulls up in like a souped up fucking like Dodge Ram. He's sitting in the back, like the bed of the truck with like 2 dudes, and they just start pelting them with water balloons. First he yells out, "Oh, look, it's Conor McGregor's bitch." And then he starts calling him a pussy and pelting them with water balloons.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
But
And
it was all
Dennis,
set up?
Well, Dylan Dennis walks up to the truck and is like, looks like he's about to jump in the back. And then they're pelting him with
gets
water
one in the
balloons,
face, yeah.
gets one in the face, and they're like, "You fucking pussy." And then they peel off. And then he goes back to the interview.
Did they hit Schaub?
No, Schaub just stood there. Because they weren't after Schaub. Schaub knew. Schaub's like, "I'm not going to get involved because this doesn't involve me." Schaub said when Dylan Dennis comes back, he's like, "Well, if you jump in the back of the truck and some shit goes down, I got to dust off the old fucking.
Do
I
you
gotta
think
dust
it
off
was
peaches
set
and
up,
cream."
or do you think it was for real?
Well, that's the interesting thing because, as Jamie said, Logan was on Food Diaries like the day before, which was an interesting conversation because he has a respect of Schaub and all these guys. Like, they are transforming their image, and it's remarkable to watch, whether you hate them or not, because conceivably they'll be mature men one day with a lot of money and a lot of power. Like,
Well, Logan Paul seems
people
somewhat
want to be on
mature.
the side, but I've been watching him for a couple years shamefully, and he's grown. Like
Which one is the one that's
douchebag.
fighting?
They're both
They're
fighting.
both fighting. Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Who wants to fight Bisping?
Jake Paul. Jake Paul
Paul's
wants to fight
the
all
smoke,
takers.
all
The
the
younger
smoke.
brother.
Yes.
He's the younger one. Right now, he will fight. He wants to fight Dylan Dennis, Conor McGregor. Like I
Who
said,
would win in the fight between the brothers?
Well, that's what he said. That will be the ultimate fight. Like this is a plan.
No, but who do you think would win in that fight? Like who's
Well,
the bigger,
Logan Paul
better
said
fighter?
him, older brother.
Which one is the wrestler?
Logan,
What-
Division I
What
wrestler.
does Jake have going for him?
23,
rapper.
ready to go.
No,
Millions of dollars.
no. Okay,
That's it.
I get it.
He has a 2-0
He has
boxing
no
career.
pedigree. Like Logan has this high
Division
school
I high
or
school
college-
wrestling background.
College or high school?
College.
High school for sure, not much college because he sort of blew up.
Not Division
Well, that's
I
right, yeah, it
college.
could have been college.
Division I high school wrestler.
But
I was a Division I high school tennis player in Ottawa. Does that count?
Will count for what? Are you going to
For
play?
fighting?
For anything.
Well,
if,
I mean,
if I
if
want to
Floyd-
be a fighter,
no, it doesn't.
I mean, I don't know if Floyd Mayweather will play you
Aren't
in
we
tennis.
just giving all our high school achievements now?
No, but it was in the realm of.
I was on the
combat
chess
sports.
team.
You're also forgetting that in Canada, it's not the same. Like being a Division I
I
wrestler
know,
in
I'm
Canada is
being-
not
I'm
the
No, but he's
Totally
totally a tennis
facetious.
player, for fuck's sakes. What are we doing here?
Who, me?
You're comparing tennis to wrestling?
I'm comparing,
comparing high school
any
sports
sport to
to-
any sport.
I say you go out of your way and challenge Jake Paul to a field goal kicking competition. Bring all the smoke.
That's interesting.
So Jake Paul,
Bring all the smoke.
Jake Paul knocked out Nate Robinson. Now he's just trying to piss off everyone to create this thing. Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Simon, think about it like this. I think they just look at it like in very simple terms. I think they say, okay, I'm 23. I started on YouTube when I was 17. I've been doing this for 6 years. Hold on. I've made $40 million. I fought a professional basketball player, and I made the same amount of money in one night. If I fight Conor McGregor, I never have to go on YouTube again. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
They
Listen,
found the path to the money.
I'm not taking. This is how the simulation is playing itself out. Like, I'm just along for the ride, you know? I'm just watching, but I'm not going to pretend like this makes me like happy. I would have rather seen a kind of more skill-based whatever. Too bad boxing doesn't have the
boxing has the
legs
most
to get
parameters
through, you know?
for skill.
No, I'm just saying, like, on its own, obviously there wasn't enough juice behind boxing anymore, or you wouldn't need these guys to be.
I mean, the thing is, Dana's adamant that they're never going to fight in the UFC, but they
He
brought
also
up
said Floyd Mayweather was never going to fight.
He'll
they
fight
brought
in
up, hold
the-
on.
He'll definitely fight
They brought
in the
up
UFC.
they brought up a good point though with the CM Punk thing. Like, he came into the UFC and just got fucking dusted.
And if
he was
they-
just a big name. That's
if
all.
they like win, they'll definitely. Dana will want them to come in.
Well,
That's
that
a
will be the
no-brainer.
most amazing thing if he knocks out Floyd Mayweather.
I mean, it would be absolutely amazing. And Trump was president, so nothing is impossible. But I would put all my money on Floyd Mayweather.
It would be amazing if Floyd.
I would bet
Mayweather
every
just-
dollar. I would go to the bank and take out the biggest loan I could to bet Floyd Mayweather.
Logan Paul said he put $100,000 on brother against Nate Robinson.
He put $100,000 on Floyd Mayweather.
Well, that might be. Oh well, no, you can't do that. That's cheating.
Keep in mind though, that's not even that big. Like, confidence wise, he spent more on a Pokemon card.
Well, no, but I don't know what the odds on his brother were
Well, I'm just like, am I wrong?
that he got robbed on. Well, yeah, they're very honest, and I mean, this is part of the reason they're successful.
You love them, eh?
I love people who work hard and are successful.
Like, you hate the honey girl who's obviously kind of like grinding.
Working hard and not successful. When you see where,
So you only like successful people.
well, I think I'm attracted to them as people to follow or whatever.
See, like, I don't see that at all with Jake and Logan Paul. Like, there's nothing about them that I'm like, they're making me want to work harder, because I don't at all understand, right? To me, that's...
Well, no, I for sure hate watching them for a while, but they're making this crazy transition, and the end game is for them to fight each other and walk away with $100 million each, 3 years from now or whatever.
So my problem with what you're saying is that I just think you're patently wrong. Like, first of all, to become that big on YouTube, you have to put in so much work. Hold on, hear me out.
Yeah.
To fight a professional athlete, you have to train a full camp, day in and day out. You can't just be a slouch and like kind of half-ass it. And then to knock him out, that's really the proving point. Like, I'm with you. If it had gone a decision and he looked whatever, then I'd be like, he knocked him out. Cold, starched.
And that's the bottom line with their decision to go into combat sports. You can't play these sports.
I don't hate
I know.
this
I don't,
idea of celebrities fighting celebrities. I love it. Okay? Besides animals fighting, I can't imagine anything that like tickles me more.
animals fucking.
And fighting. I like them both. But no, I'm just saying it's like making boxing into a joke. And I don't know, man. If
No,
it was
not
all
all
just for fun,
Boxers
you
aren't
know,
happy
Hear me out. Just
about this.
Can I?
do it as a celebrity league. I'm all over that. Mike Tyson Celebrity Boxing League. Let's do
But
this.
they want integrity and be taken seriously.
Hold on. Let's back up. I said this last week and I'll say it again. I think boxers should be happy as fuck. When was the last time you watched a boxing match? Tyson Fury.
Listen to this podcast.
Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, because we wanted to see like an amazing, epic boxing
Fine.
match.
Other than that, what was the last boxing match you watched?
I don't know, man.
My point, though, is that boxing was dying. It was on its deathbed. So you could either not have these guys involved at all, continue the way it's going, have it die. You know how dead boxing was? They had a championship fight, huge fight, and the UFC was on the same night, and they waited a half hour. They made both fighters sit in their fucking rooms
Can I tell
for a
you
half
what the
hour
prob-
waiting for the UFC to end.
The problem with boxing, Matt, though, is more than that. It's that there are these 3 different leagues and they can't get
understand.
the right fights and it's all fucked up. Like if it was like the UFC and they just got the right people to, like, that's the best part about the UFC, right? You have these guys
Even no one
and
gets paid.
No, I'm just saying.
That's why this is a plus twos.
When
These
there's
guys
a
can get
fight
paid.
that is supposed to happen, it usually does. Granted, sometimes there are,
Yes, there's all sorts of. I
he
get it.
breaks his leg, he
Sure.
falls, whatever. But usually we get the fights we want.
The other thing I find the problem with boxing is they talked a lot about fighting in this one, ad nauseum almost. And we'll talk more about
And the
fighting
next one.
in the next one, but more so in the next one because he was so much closer. But like I looked up the Sugar Shane Mosley, Mayweather, Canelo Mayweather, whatever. It only makes sense in slow motion because these elite guys are so fast.
Oh, it's
You,
insane.
you just see a bit of a thing.
Canelo's fucking
You're like,
nuts.
who got hit there? I don't even know. But when you slow it down, you see like they're too fast to observe. Like I find UFC is a lot more.
Well, and that's
see what's going
why
on.
the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight was so amazing, was because you had these two like epic fighters, one with this giant knockout, the other was like a dance, right? It was easy to follow. There wasn't anything that was too fast, or it was just, it played out right.
Well, no, heavyweights is a different story.
And
for
what
sure.
a fight that was. When you think about it, think about that. The rising from the dead, all of that. Like, it had to be scripted, right?
No, because they would have done part 2 by now.
And so what we have
That's
to
the 2 league thing, man.
what we have to look
telling you.
forward now is Mayweather will have a shit talking conference with Logan Paul probably.
Wait a minute. We had the second one. He knocked him out.
The second one
yeah.
wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good. Yeah, we had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant the third.
The third can't happen because they're now in these 2 separate leagues.
And,
Division,
hope-
whatever.
and
Not division.
he had a lot of excuses. It was just ugly. It was weird.
Yeah,
The
forget
second fight.
boxing. Who cares?
My point was just simply like these guys could resurrect boxing because
Well-
you might not have cared or watched.
I hear you.
They're in the process of it, I think. I really do think.
Yes
It'll
and
be
no, though.
interesting to see Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather insult each other before the fight.
But let me tell you right off the bat, when I watch these, I tune in for just those fights. I'm not watching the prelims of these. Like the UFC, I watch. There was a time when Simon and I watched every single fight.
Well,
Like the prelims, the early prelims.
promoters might be able to put, Marita Lopez against Screech. You might have to tune in for that one. Sorry.
Mario Lopez.
By the way, did anyone see the made-for-TV movie that KFC put out with Mario Lopez as...
No, we talked about it last
Oh,
week,
did we
though.
talk about it last week?
KFC, like the chicken company?
He's Colonel Sanders.
So they paid for Lifetime to make a movie called, what is it, The Smell of Seduction or whatever. It's Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders.
He passed away 20 years ago, like last week.
It's like a romance movie about chicken. It's basically just to sell.
It's an ad.
It's an hour-long ad made for TV movie with Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. I'll show you the ad after this.
Okay, yeah,
It's fucking hilarious. Sorry, keep going.
And then they played the Tom Cruise clip. Have you guys heard that?
Yes, I have.
Well, I mean, they played it on
so
this.
funny.
But you know what's weird? Because Tom Cruise isn't about vaccines and stuff or medicines or anything
No,
like that.
it doesn't make any sense.
Well, to Andrew Schulz' point, that he leaked this too. But could you imagine a guy who's 4 feet tall screaming at you like that? Like he's so small. And when you're just hearing audio, it's whatever. He could be this booming guy, but he's the actor. It's just such a weird thing.
He's
Not on that set.
Well, no.
That's a Scientology set. He's the king. He's
It's
the
so
fucking,
crazy the level he's gotten to.
He's
No,
the
but
head.
He's the executive producer on that
He's
set.
the head Thetan. He's the fucking big
No,
Pumbaa,
hold on.
the
We're
big
talking
giant
about Mission
head.
Impossible, though. He's the executive producer.
I think-
he's also the actor, but
Any movie he does, he's the head Pumbaa.
I have listened to many Scientology podcasts, okay? And one of them, they talked all about what it's like on a Tom Cruise set when Scientology is involved. You would not believe. No. I'm telling you, like, it is so fucking, it's all run by Scientology.
Hollywood.
No, when he does, especially a movie like that where Tom Cruise owns that somehow, I'm sure, it's nuts.
But he put on a good show. I believe 6 people have quit since then.
the best was someone edited that speech over like his character in Tropic Thunder.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I just think it's so funny because he's so short, screaming up. Like, he'd be screaming up to people. literally. You're fired if I see you with a mask again.
Well, no, you're forgetting they're on a movie set, so he gets like 2 Apple boxes.
Oh,
puts
he's
those down.
he's on his
he's on everyone's level.
director's chair yelling at everyone. I hate getting yelled at. Could imagine getting yelled at by little Tom Cruise.
Well, that was the first thing I thought of when I heard it. I was like, even if he's right, or even if you think he's right, or if you think it's real or whatever, like you never want to be in a fucking work environment like that, where someone feels that they can just fucking tee off and fire you.
Especially not this day and age. I mean, that was when you could smack someone.
That's how you know it's got to be a Scientology set, because you can't get away with that in a normal workplace. Right away,
That's some sort of weird harassment shit.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's interesting. But not when Tom Cruise on set.
Not on a Scientology set.
I mean, those are all still unionized sets, Scientology or not. You can't be on one of those movies if you're not part of a union, one way or the other.
Yep.
I needed to make a correction. Andrew Schulz talked about how he liked country music.
Yeah,
He said, I
weird.
love that. I like country music, but I love that.
Oh, that bothered me so
Flats,
much.
Life is a Highway.
I was like,
is
dude,
not
fuck off.
Rascal Flats.
No, it's Tom Cochran,
Tom
baby.
Cochran, who also wrote the theme song for the National Pedophile Society. Boy Inside the Man.
Isn't that
Oh, my
NAMBLA?
God. No.
NAMBA,
yeah. Boy Inside
North
the Man, Tom
American
Cochran.
Man Boy Love Association.
But yeah, that hurt.
That's a real thing.
NAMBLA, yeah.
I don't know if the theme song is the Boy Inside the Man.
But are you being serious?
Google it right now.
So
Pull it up on your phone.
What is it meant as, though?
I haven't looked it up in years, but NAMBLA is a thing.
But Rascal Flats covers Tom Cochran. It's a Canadian again.
No, but I mean, what does this
National Man Boy Association.
do?
I'll look it up in a sec. Fun fact, weird fact, Much Music had a Tom Cochran Life is a Highway day where they played just that music video on loop all day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when that song dropped?
When that
it's
song
huge.
was on the radio, it was literally
Life is
on every
Simon.
day, every
Literally,
hour.
literally.
It was like on a loop.
And everyone loved it, and it was great, man. It was viral before the internet.
Before viral, yeah. When music could be viral through your ears.
And then they talked about the world is homophobic. Do you think you agree with that statement? I really think it's true. Like we think we're progressive and like bygones, whatever.
Simon, you will never believe this.
What?
I'm reading this from Wikipedia. I have not doctored this in any way. The North American Man Boy Love Association, NAMBLA, is a pedophilia and pederasty advocacy organization in the United States. It works to abolish the age of consent laws, criminalizing adult sexual involvement with minors, and campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for sexual contact with minors that did not involve what is considered coercion. The group no longer holds regular national meetings.
Ghost came in the room.
And as of the late 1990s, to avoid local police infiltration, the organization discouraged the formation of local chapters.
Do they have a logo?
Yes, of course.
Oh, God, that's sick.
What's the logo?
I'm just being funny.
No, that is sick, though. That's the logo. Keep in mind, that's
a big
man.
and a little B.
Yeah, the Man Boy.
What is going on here?
I found out about it in like the early 2000s. Because I, like you, was the same way. I was like, hold on.
So is this one of those occasions where we have to it's a freedom of speech thing and you just...
I believe so.
Not really, because they've been disbanded, basically. Like, they live on the internet in...
4chan.
Yeah.
Parlor.
Simon, think about it. That's a tough sell. Like, imagine someone shows up to your door with a pamphlet. Hello, I'm here from NAMBLA. We're an advocacy group for pedophiles
Care to donate?
and pederasty. Dude, like, you would be... Dude, if you had a gun next to your door, you would pull it up so fucking quickly.
By the
and
way,
be
sir,
like,
how old is your son?
you literally have seconds to get off my front porch. Like...
I don't even know. I thought you were joking at first. I don't even know what to say, man.
I don't make up jokes like that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. That logo is too much.
You know what's crazy is that a firm took money and developed that. Developed multiple logos for them, and they were like, that's the one.
The problem is, it's like somebody was creative there.
What am I trying to convey? Yeah, of course, a designer.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly my point, is like someone was like, this is the project.
If you are the president of NAMBLA And the guy's like, oh, so what do you want your logo to look at? You're just like, Roman times, motherfucker. I don't care. I don't care.
Can the M be fucking the B? Can the B be small?
We want to
It's
say
almost
it without
brilliant.
saying it.
It's really gross.
It's fucked.
I want to know who the ad, like nobody's putting that on their resume as like, we killed this one.
That's on your portfolio.
Yeah.
What's at the bottom there? Don't worry. It's something I did.
No, I want to see the big B and the little M. That looks awesome. No, you don't. Trust me, you don't.
The world is more homophobic than it's not.
Oh yeah, that's where we were starting with this. Okay.
That too, is that on your LinkedIn? Founder or like former member of NAMBLA? Sorry. Is the world homophobic?
Well, they're saying Tom Cruise, always a rumor that he's gay, it can't come out. John Travolta, whatnot. And I don't agree with it, but Joe said, I mean, The Rock couldn't come out if he's gay. Not that there's a problem with it, but
maybe it's
so many markets don't want that.
Maybe
Still.
it's the States, but like if tomorrow Daniel Craig came out and was like, I've been gay my whole life, I've just kept in the closet, I would have no problem with him playing Bond until he was just, too old.
No.
You wouldn't have any problem with that.
I just said that is I get
I
that.
wouldn't have any problem with that, but Kamar's right.
But
I think he's right.
what if
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying maybe we live in a place that's slightly more tolerant. I don't live in the States. I only lived there for 9 months. I didn't see, I mean,
if
again, I
you
lived in
found
New York
out
City.
that if The Rock came out as gay, it would hurt his image somehow, I'm sure.
That's
this is
what
the
we're
question,
suggesting.
though.
But what Joe said, sorry, just to your, before we move on, hold on that. He was saying Daniel Craig could not come out as gay, and the next James Bond, him fucking all the dudes for information, as James Bond always fucked.
No, that's ridiculous though,
that's
because
insane.
you're playing a role. The
Yeah.
whole thing is stupid. You're playing a role. It shouldn't make a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
It shouldn't make a difference.
And most great actors
Of course,
are gay.
it shouldn't, but obviously
No.
it does.
I'm not.
I just wanted to throw
oblivious
something out
that.
real quick, though. Now, what if The Rock came out as gay, but Dwayne Johnson was straight? Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Well, that's just weird.
Was that like Eminem?
What do you mean?
Marshall Mathers Eminem.
Yeah, like The Rock comes
like
out
he
as
made
gay,
his
but yeah,
alternate personality.
like the
gay.
wrestler was gay for years. All those times he was mounting guys, and
I'm sure
throwing,
that'll
that was
happen in the
all
next couple
super
years.
gay. But Dwayne Johnson is
No,
straight.
but again, wrestling is fake. You're playing a role. It's the same thing.
But again, I talked about it, I think, on the post show. They asked Kristen Stewart about straight people playing gay roles. And her response was, it's mine, don't worry. Her response was, well, I'm gay. Does that mean I can't ever play a straight person again? And I thought that was that was a great response because it's acting. What the fuck are we doing here?
It does
Like,
not matter to me.
does that mean that I can only play straight white males? Like, that's not how acting works. You're supposed to, you play a part, you develop a role. That
was a post joke exclusively on the Patreon.
Like, you're not a vampire. You know what I mean? Tom Cruise wasn't a vampire.
No, the whole thing is silly, of course. I guess to Kamar's point is that the world is still very homophobic.
Like, even if it's 55,
Well, you know
45.
the world is.
I was just gonna say the world. That's a fucking
But
ridiculous
North
statement.
America is probably still more than you would think.
Well, and Hollywood caters to it. And I don't even know what they think
But
about
maybe that's because Hollywood caters
homosexuality
to
in China.
China. Yeah, I don't know either.
And just around the world in general. We think we've progressed so far, but there's still a blight. They may not be the Satan worshipping child sacrifices Hollywood, but they definitely cater
to the
the
gays.
masses. Not to the gays.
Oh,
But they're trying. They're coming along.
but Hollywood is filled with gay people, so it's a weird
It's the
juxtaposition.
weirdest thing. And Joe brought a point to it, and I thought about it. Chinese food. Do you like Chinese food?
I like some Chinese food,
Canadian.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you like North American
Canadian,
Chinese
North
food.
American Chinese
None of us
food.
would go to China and be amped on a fucking traditional Chinese meal.
I don't think so. Except it was duck. If they did a duck, like I can eat
Maybe a
duck.
duck, yeah, but it's usually those fucking sea cucumbers that look like cocks and.
But do you remember when you were a kid the first time you had a chicken ball with that red sauce?
Yeah, but that's the most Americanized.
It's
fucking,
pretty, but it was pretty awesome. Eh? It's like, oh, I really like Chinese food, even though it's not Chinese food at all.
yeah, like beef
You don't
and
like chicken
broccoli.
balls?
No, it's not.
You don't love chicken balls. You like egg rolls?
I like spring rolls.
It's like Italian. Like if you ask someone if they like Italian, they're gonna be like, yeah. You go to Italy though, and you have like classic Italian. It's gonna be very different than what you're used to.
I think
here.
it's a lot
It's
closer.
way better. Italian food is the best.
Oh, like traditional from Italy? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, because it's all fresh ingredients
Amazing.
and fun. Yeah,
There's only like Middle East food, Italian food, Chinese food,
Keep on going with the types
Japanese
of
food,
food.
German food. You start to go down like
Jamaican food.
Jamaican food is the best.
Brazilian.
Love Jamaican food.
I don't eat any Brazilian food.
Remember when Bone Crusher took us to that special place in Toronto?
Was it Brazilian? No,
it was Jamaican.
Yes, with the oxtail gravy.
Yeah.
I love.
It's amazing.
That's my favorite dish.
My aunt's restaurant in Toronto has an oxtail poutine that is fucking bananas.
But you don't say English food is the best.
That's because English food sucks.
You don't say Scottish food's the best.
Again, that food sucks too.
I'll tell you, I spent a little bit of time in Oxford because I had a friend who lived there, so I stayed with her.
Humble brag.
It's not a humble brag. It's just what it is.
I was sticking it to some brains
It
in
wasn't.
Oxford.
She was just a friend. She was just a friend. Anyways, that's when I had that crazy hash from the guy in the beard. Anyways, now I forgot what I was even going to tell you, man.
British food was good.
Oh
in
yeah,
Oxford.
the Chinese food in England is amazing.
Yeah.
It really, or no, sorry, not the Chinese food, the
Indian food.
Sorry.
So there's a superpower of foods, though, we agree.
Sorry.
There's a superpower
There's
of foods.
superpowers of countries. There's superpowers of food. There's like 8 foods that are like, whoa, that's the best, and then you sort of trail off, and you couldn't really describe.
But again,
what it is.
Chinese food that we have is not Chinese food.
I wouldn't say
You can't-
Brazilian
it's
food.
tough
I'd be
to-
like Spanish food.
Well, Brazilian food is like that.
A lot of meat.
I love the
yeah,
meat.
meat on a stick.
Mexican's amazing.
It's hard to eat after Bridesmaids.
Oh, because they go in the food poisoning. Yeah. Well, I've never had it, so I don't know.
You know that I read in Brazil they all use those transparent papers?
To smoke weed.
Yeah.
So it just looks like they're smoking nothing.
Well, no, it looks like a stick of weed, but
Right, yeah.
Just
For some
odd.
reason in my head it was invisible.
it was invisible.
Yeah.
Greek
That's
food's
amazing.
good.
Greek food, yeah.
Those are the superpowers of food. I like Andrew Schulz because he asks Joe.
Oh, that's who we were talking about.
He asked
Andrew
Joe's.
Schulz, yeah.
He asked Joe's questions. You know, like, did you buy anything with the money? You know what I mean? He's just like
Yeah, he calls Joe on a little bit of his bullshit.
on enough of stuff.
It seemed like a weird question to me though, because it's not like Joe
we
won
knew
the
from
lottery.
the episode before. Yeah, he buys fucking shit all the time.
No, what I meant though was like he was already super rich. It wasn't
Yeah.
as if there wasn't anything he couldn't have bought himself that he didn't want.
This
you know what
just
I mean?
gives him like
This is the true fuck off money,
the
but
right, but he already had fuck off money.
that's my
For
point.
sure,
There was
yeah.
nothing like I'm sure there was nothing on his list that he was like, I just can't afford that. Like it's not like Joe was an art collector where now he could go out and be like, that $50 million piece I wanted, which is a total waste of money by the way.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
he still had all sorts of cash.
I just like the rapport they have, the comfortableness he feels in digging at Joe. And Joe's
Yes,
totally
I like it
cool with
too.
it. I do
Yep.
that a lot. Then they said Biden's officially president, so
So you're finally on board with that, Kamar?
I was whatever happens.
Mitch
happens.
McConnell came out, which I couldn't believe.
And then they talked about Bernie Sanders. He's a real enigma. Is he a piece of shit or did he just get done wrong by? You know what I mean? But he doesn't call it out to be like.
Well, at the end of the day, that's how I feel. I don't think he's a piece of shit, but I think at the end of the day, even if Bernie got elected, he probably would have just fucking
I think they are all pieces of shit.
probably just would have played ball with the establishment.
It really makes me feel like it's all just already
Smoke
all
and
planned
mirrors.
out,
Yeah,
and
of
you
course.
know,
Well-
this is all for like the American populace benefit. You know, this Truman Show they got going.
But his underlying, Andrew said throughout the podcast, is just like, well, the economy's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like the fractional banking
But come
reserve.
on,
You explain that?
Andrew Schulz is a conspiracy theorist. Let's not beat around the bush here. Like, he just doesn't call himself that, but he has nestled himself into that, like,
Oh, yeah, I could-
that's what's popular right now.
Well, you know what? But that's way more fun to talk about than politics.
I'm a realist theorist, you know what I mean? But it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's just without a name. It's to not have to associate yourself with like Sam Tripoli and those guys, but you're making money off the same thing. You guys you're all drinking from the same trough, you know?
And then Joe mentioned that there's free school in Canada, and he's misinformed about that. I mean,
Yeah, he said free. Yeah,
It's subsidized, and I have a student loan, and I cannot get out of it. So
Yeah.
it's not.
I think this fucking paying backs. This is ridiculous. Personally, that all these people just think their student loans should be paid back. I'm That's insane.
You know, it's the same thing as all the guys who are in jail for weed, where it's legalized now.
Listen, I'll say
state
this.
arrested
You
them.
should be able to claim bankruptcy and it should go away if that's what, like if you're in that financial situation. But the idea that you can just take out a loan at some point.
Here's the thing about the student loans, okay? And I hear you, Matt. Like from a responsibility point of view, you're like, but they were set up as this like super crooked way to entrap children into making horrible decisions. Like they went out of their way to do this. For whatever reason, it made them a ton of cash. It gave them control over their populace.
Hold on.
So I hear you, but like it was an unfair thing that was done originally. So there has to be some, don't alleviate all of it, but we got to figure something out here because it was entrapment. It's the same fucking thing.
Here's my thing though, Simon, is there's people that took those loans, went on to get really good degrees, end up in high paying jobs, still not pay them back. There's also the people too that, and we know a lot of them, that took those loans out, maybe did a half a semester, spent the money on weed, gambling, booze, whatever the fuck, and then expected to be paid back. And I also just don't think that's like...
Well, I think that it's not so black and white.
I agree.
And there has to be some, if they want to do something about this, it's going to take, it can't just be a blanket thing, obviously.
It have to be some sort of compromise.
They're going to
down the
have to
middle.
look into some of these cases and it's going to take whatever, but I don't know, man. It feels really wrong somehow that there was this like plot behind the scenes to...
There are countries where
Sure, but-
university is free.
But Simon, it's also one of those things where like, I didn't go to university. Now that was my choice. I'm not sitting here like, no, I didn't have the money. I had it paid for. I had a free ride if I wanted. Didn't go, but it's just odd to me that people that took the loan, got a degree, and then because they didn't get a job or they chose the wrong fucking path, whatever, they just expect it to be paid back.
Yeah,
Because
I see what you're saying for sure. For sure. I
get what you're saying too, though. It's not as black and white.
It feels like
as,
a prison, put people away for weed for nothing because we need to populate our prison. It seems like that same kind of scam. They're just pulling in a different way. And yeah, they sucked a lot of people into it. And some people exploited the system and some people took the free money and some people actually wanted to go to school and make this all happen for themselves. And unfortunately got out of school and maybe their job didn't work out or their field, you were a literary, maybe you or whatever, you know what I mean? And you get fucked and
I also want to clear up
there's
too,
no
though.
relief ever.
I believe that our student loans are subsidized by the government, are they not?
Partially. You still owe money.
See, a student loan in the States, I believe, is like a bank.
I think I'm talking about the States, not about Canada.
Yeah, see, because it's a little bit different when the government's involved as well.
Yeah. This is all information I heard about how their system
Yeah.
works. I'm not even sure how ours
I think it's
works.
just a lot more
imagine
money,
it's the
but-
same way, though.
Well, because ours is
problems.
but ours is OSAP, right? Which is the Ontario like what
And is
student-
federal.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like that's a loan you get from the government, which is a little bit, that's where it gets dicier. That's all I'm saying. Keep in mind too, the States is obviously different because school there is fucking bananas.
It's
like the price of
different
school there
numbers,
is
yeah, for
fucking
sure.
ludicrous. You know what I mean? Like first of all, we live in a city where there's two good universities. You could, in theory, just stay at home and go to like Carleton or Ottawa U and not break the bank, right? Become a journalist. And, that's not really, in the States, that's not really a possibility. You got to pay fucking mucho dinero. Either way.
And then from these universities, probably the term diet culture was invented. You guys don't remember them talking about that?
Yeah.
Is a term now?
Yeah.
Because they're saying healthcare, if we're going to have public healthcare, then we can publicly shame people to be fat. And it came to, there's the diet culture. Like it's a bad thing.
Well, that's one thing I find odd about our country. I find it odd that we don't tax fast food more. Like we tax the shit out of cigarettes.
That happens.
Fast food is obviously a problem.
They tried to
for
do that in
everyone's
New York
health.
City with the extra large
the
soda.
soda
That wasn't a tax though. It was just you could only buy a soda this big. There was no option for anything else. There was
they
no
take away
tax.
freedom.
Yes,
The
and people-
tax is going to be the same thing. But I agree. The cigarettes are taxed as shit. Alcohol's taxed as shit.
But I mean, keep in mind, Kumar, like, you brought this up when we were talking about the carbon thing, and I agree with you. Like, where's the money going? And I thought about it, and the money's supposed to go to like subsidize. So let's say we have a carbon tax. That money's supposed to go to like alternate energies. So like the government's supposed to dole that out to companies that are trying to figure out, therefore they create more jobs, this and that. Now I agree with you, that money probably never goes there, so it's a problem, the carbon tax, but that's what it's supposed to be. But again, we don't tax these. McDonald's is a huge corporation. We don't tax them at all, nor do we force them to tax us.
The whole thing lies in what he was talking about with the fractional reserve banking.
Well,
And that's
it's
the
all
way,
fucked.
if you get $50 million to do this, 15 million is for sure like totally wasted or squandered or.
No, what he was saying is, what he means is
Count
this,
on
is if I have $100 in the bank, so let's say you start a bank, it's just
Yeah.
Kamar, and you get me as your first client.
Yeah.
I give you
I
$1,000.
only need
You can
$10.
loan out 10 times that amount automatically based on my money.
Yeah. So you just make that money. Like it's just.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole shit is bullshit. I was going to say it in the post show, but they were saying 35% of all the money ever printed in the United States has been printed in the last 9 months. There's so much cash out there.
Wow, really?
Yeah. You know, it's like that weird thing, like 90% of the pictures have been taken in the last 20 years since whatever. Because cameras, obviously, and technology.
Well, I would say it's in the last 10 years since we put them in our pockets.
That
yeah.
money printed is fucking crazy, man.
Well, and imagine how many people are just hooping it at work.
The gold.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Those are tight assholes. Trump is looking really bad now, complaining. Talked about that. It's too bad.
I read something the other day that every time he tweets something out, Twitter now reminds, anytime he tweets something about election fraud, Twitter reminds him that Joe Biden is the president-elect. That's fucking incredible.
He's upset. People are happy. It's a good thing. Then they talked a bit about ancient aliens. Fantastic.
Got Simon Light up.
I like ancient aliens. What did they talk about?
Well, they're just saying they just built them to look like mountains because mountains were cool, not necessarily
Yeah, I mean,
anything
that's
to do with the...
it's okay. I mean, maybe Mocha. I guess that's a
Oh,
possibility.
Mocha, of course, because that transition.
I don't think that's true.
Like, I think it was the Mayans and the Incas they were talking about. Chichen Itza.
Chichen Itza.
Chichen Itza, is that something that possible? So I thought that was would have probably moved your penis. Then they talked about Mars again. Mm-hmm. Elon's not going to go there, but like I said, it would be such early civilization whoever gets there. You know, life as you know it changes so much. Like we have to work here, a 9 to 5 or whatever, like to survive. It's a different existence in the rules. I don't know. It's pretty crazy, man. The people that want to go up there.
Crazy.
You'd
That's
have to
that.
be fucked to want that.
You know what I mean? Like almost not happy with life on this
You'd
planet.
have to be miserable here to want to go there.
It's just such a
You'd have to
weird,
be.
interesting type of person. Like, yeah, I'm going to go there forever and not know what it is. And
I'd be worried
my
too.
life will never be the same or anything.
I'd be worried too that we'd get there and like a month or 2 months in, someone would just fucking snap. And just
Well, yeah, you can't call 911.
you wake up, it's like Event Horizon. You're like, whoa, what the fuck?
All the cameras go dead. And then they turn on and everything. Like,
Yeah, there's just blood floating everywhere. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. I would never.
we've deducted that the aliens would have killed us by now. So
Simon, let me ask you though. Let's say that it's like, I don't know. We know that life on Earth here is done. And you have two choices: either stay here and die, or get on a ship and go to Mars. What do you do?
motorcycle off a fucking.
Or
think-
Thelma and Louise? That's the third choice.
I mean, I don't. It's such a hard thing to say.
Halima and the kids are getting on the ship.
Yeah, no,
Oh, whoa!
Simon's
whoa.
like- Simon's
I
like,
thought
wait,
you guys
are
would
they?
have had a family discussion.
Simon's like, wait a minute, are they?
Are we all on the same page here?
yeah, I guess we go to the moon, man.
Where they go, we go.
It would suck. That's not what I want.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
It's not what I want to
But
do.
it
I wasn't asking if you'd enjoyed it.
It has
That
to be
wasn't
we're
the question.
leaving because there's a total ice age, so just everything's gonna be gone forever, or some plague or something.
Like if it's just me having to fight the animals, I'll take my chance
Yeah,
against the
if
animals.
it's just chaos, man, I'm sticking around. It's got to be something that you die just being there.
Listen, obviously, if it's a Will Forte Last Man on Earth scenario, that's not awful. That's
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I'm saying. Like it would have, like Kamar said, it would have to be like an apocalyptical thing.
Just you
'cause
have
if
no
not,
choice.
that would be a really great premise for something too, where like everyone leaves, but you just decide to stay, and it really just gets a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
But like
Yes.
everyone's gone,
It
but like,
becomes like Canada becomes like California.
that's it. It's just
We're
a little
loving
bit
it up
warmer.
here.
Yeah. You're like,
I mean, California burns, but it's nice up here.
yeah. Just one Canadian guy, just like, it's really not that bad, eh? I don't even know what all the fuss was about. Sorry, Kumar, go ahead. Kumar's so bummed at my...
No, I'm not. I'm loving it. I'm like, I'm bringing up these topics. We're bouncing off. It's great. I'm listening here like, I'm killing it.
I'm killing it.
my God.
Finally, they Joe introduced Elizabeth Holmes to Andrew Schulz.
Oh yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos.
Which, when you hear those tapes,
Theranos.
who-
Thanos is the guy who took
yeah.
over the world.
it's all bullshit, anyways. Fuck. When you listen to it, the conviction she's talking with in her fucked up voice. Puts
Have you listened to that
lotion in the bar?
podcast about her? Oh, The Dropout. That's the one Joe's talking about. It's amazing.
But like, it's Bernie Madoff shit.
Yes, it's
Just completely
crazy.
lined. Like, it's insane to have those clips
Dude,
available.
they sold all those machines to Walgreens and then they weren't working. So they were like, they went back to doing it by taking the blood instead of using the machine. And then,
Well, the best was they trained the Walgreens employees to tell people, like, the machines are down. It's just like a...
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they had
Like,
to
it's
train their
crazy.
employees to, like, the proper...
But it's like Enron. Like, how do you get that far?
Well, have you not seen... What's the movie with Jonah Hill and that fucking kid who I hate where they play arms dealers?
Yeah, War Dogs.
War Dogs. Like, dude, those guys were just two average Joe nobodies who got like a $50 million
Yeah,
government
it's crazy.
contract to sell arms.
Next
and like,
thing you know, they're dropping shit off in Afghanistan. You
yeah.
know?
So
Is it based on a true story, though?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool and
Based
exciting.
on
Weapons,
a true story,
you know what
so
I mean?
I'm not sure exactly.
well, Kumar, there's a
what that
scene too where
means.
they're like, you got the thing. You came in way under the last bid, and they're like, just out of curiosity, what was the other bid? And they're like, they were like 280 million, and they're like, fuck.
Yeah, they're budget guns salesmen. But what did she initially ever have a intent of this blood? It doesn't make sense. Like, I think from the get-go, it was a complete lie and con, and it's crazy that it got up to being worth $9 billion.
But that's what my question is.
Complete bullshit.
I don't know that's my feeling is that they had something that they felt would work, and they had a lot of money.
okay.
They had a lot of money behind it, and then once they realized we just have nothing, that's when the lie started. And that instead of being like just going to shareholders and being like, meh.
So that is a twisted web of whatever the first lie was. Whenever that decision was made, you know what I mean? We're going this way, and then it's just a lie. Like, Madoff lied every single day of his life to somebody.
You know what's really weird is I used to skip a ton of school all the time. Skipped so much school. And it was like, I hated school, so that wasn't stressful skipping. But the stress of going home and like being found out, like every day, just because I skipped like when I went to grade 9, I skipped my first 46 math classes and no one called. And I was just like, this is incredible. Like, this is what school like? Because in grade 8, 7, like if you miss a class, your parents are getting called right away. And then finally someone called, and I just remember like it was so stressful, those 46 days of like, are they going to call? I don't know how these people do it.
My entire high school career was based around like lies I was dodging from my parents. You know, it was very stressful.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know how these people, and that's just a lie to your parents.
Yeah.
Just to not get in trouble. Imagine having $100 million of someone's money that you've
it's
built.
crazy. You got to be a real sociopath
Well,
to be able to deal with that kind of
I
shit.
would love to pinpoint what lie
empathy.
that was. You know what I mean? There's the fundamental lie.
No,
that
she
you
knew
could
the
go
whole
back.
time she was never making something that was going to work.
Craziness, just absolute craziness.
Yeah.
And her voice is just fucking all right.
What's crazy is that some kid can walk into a convenience store with a gun with no bullets in it, not even rob the convenience store, maybe doesn't even make away with anything. But let's say he robs it for $500, probably does like 20 years. This chick will do like maybe 10.
Or nothing.
Or nothing, sure.
The fine. Well,
Look at Ghislaine. They want to pay $40 million so that she can get off pedophile charges. That's
No, she can
just
get on bail. Just so she can go
Release
home
from
for
prison.
Christmas, Maddie. That's it.
wow, have a heart.
Well, Trump wished her well. Happy holidays.
And then for the last half hour, they just talked about a special. And
That was, sorry, just 1 second. That was really his downfall.
I wish
like-
her well.
I mean, he obviously did a lot of crappy shit, but that's when you just knew for sure. There was no doubt at all.
There was no draining the swamp.
There was
no
nothing.
pedophile ring he was bringing down.
No behind the scenes, nothing. It was just business as usual.
What if he said, she deserves to die, and I hope she burns in hell?
No, even better if
Samuel
you just
Jackson.
posted a meme of Samuel L. Jackson at Ghislaine. That would have been, then I would have been like, okay, maybe this guy means business. But no.
He wished her well.
He wished her well.
Anyways, go on. Come on.
Oh, then they just talked about special, and I thought he was very gracious in communicating the time sacrifice, all the people involved.
I have a tough time believing that the guy who edited it knew nothing about editing.
Well,
And then edited
he's the guy in if you watch Flagrant 2.
Adobe Premiere
He
is
says he's a genius and just figured it out.
Which one is he in Flagrant 2?
He's white and has long hair.
Oh, I know him.
insane. He must be a fucking genius.
And there was a guy that went to him who helped pay for it. Was like, you got to take my names off the credits because he knew all the guys he was making fun of.
Yeah.
So he's, I think, the best success story we've seen for a comedian on Rogan.
I mean, I just don't
In
think you're
my
going. You're not
lifetime.
going back far enough.
Oh no, I mean Duncan, Burt, like all
That's what
those
I'm
guys.
saying is everyone grew up on.
I mean, Bert's a pretty big success story on Rogan, actually bigger than Schulz.
Tom was nobody
Oh,
when he
Tom
did his first.
is a huge success
let's
story.
be serious
from
here,
Rogan.
yeah.
Yeah, but Schulz was nobody 2 years ago.
But again, I don't think he was nobody. I knew exactly who Andrew Schulz was 2 years ago.
No, he'd been already going for.
I think he's the third most, Kamar, because Bert and Tom to me seem
Pretty big, yeah.
I feel like
Joey
he
Diaz.
might be on a trajectory.
I mean, you could argue
Tony
that
Hinchcliffe. No, he's not that big.
You'll be able to tell.
Oh, Andrew Santino. There's another one.
No, he's way bigger than Andrew Santino.
Theo
Theo.
went from obscurity to fucking pretty big stuff
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
That's true. A
I-
lot
I-
of those guys.
I
huh?
think he's bigger than all those names you mentioned, except for Burt and maybe Tom. In any event. That's what I'm saying.
In any event.
All right, well, let's rate it then. Are we
it's
done?
Christmas.
We met him when we started this
Yeah.
on this program, and
Yeah.
it's been amazing to see his progress.
Remember that guy was giving me shit on my personal Instagram account?
No.
Andrew
Well,
Schulz
we
did?
did no, we did the first Schulz episode. We rated it, and some guy went on my personal Instagram was like, "Your fucking opinion about Schulz is trash. You don't know shit." And I was like, "Dude, bring that over to the other one. I don't care about this. It's a photo of a landscape." All right, rate it, Simon.
I give it a 3.5.
Kamar.
I didn't love his special, but I love Andrew. I give it a 3.5 too. Just there's so much fight talk. Somewhat relevant.
I give it. I give it a 3. Almost an agreement.
There you go.
It was bordering on a
around,
3
you
and a
come
half.
around
It was
on
bordering on a
him.
3.5.
He's growing on you. I wish him well.
Yeah, I
And
wish him well as well.
It'll be interesting to see post-COVID.
If he comes out with a real special.
More you can tell if he's doing theaters
Mm-hmm.
or clubs.
Yeah.
Or stadiums for that matter.
Or stadiums for that matter. All right, well, let's move on to
We knew he was coming on as well because
the cherry on the week. Well, you knew he was coming on. I actually guessed it last week.
true. 1581.
J Prince.
Did not see this coming.
Nope.
Do you find he sounded like Ian Edwards a bit?
I didn't notice.
He had just a long drawl.
I didn't really notice either, to be honest.
I will from now pronounce it Louisiana.
Louisiana.
No, Louisiana
Louisiana.
from now on because there's no reason to do that much work in pronouncing all the letters. It sounds like I'm saying it.
I saw the best meme the other day. It's this African guy talking. He's like, "This is Kansas." And it's a map of the states. And he's like, "This is Arkansas." And then and he's like, "I do not understand." Arkansas?
Oh. Gotcha.
Did you know who Jay Prince was before this podcast?
No, sir.
You never heard of him?
I couldn't believe that Drake only came up at the very end.
Hey, babe.
Well,
It was incredible.
this
Thank
is what
God.
I'm trying to say is I first heard of him because of the Drake Pusher T beef.
Because he told Drake not to respond.
After a couple barbs. Do you remember
Yes.
this?
No.
It's sort of silly. Like it's almost like soap opera, but apparently Jay Prince made the call that Drake could put out something about Pusha T that would really hurt his feelings and said, stand down.
This is after Pusha T released in a song that Drake had an illegitimate child named Adonis that he had never mentioned before. And then Drake after had to publicly be like, yeah, I got this kid.
It was pretty good, though. The barbs were pretty good for beef. I mean, you never know how much these cut deep. And there was something about Kanye helping him get stuff on Drake.
They both sold a lot of records that summer, and that's all that really matters.
But I wouldn't be mad if Joe had been aware of that and asked about it.
Well, Jamie knew all about that, but I wanted
Jamie's, it's not.
I got what I wanted. I wanted less Drake. I was concerned it was somehow going to be all about and
boxing.
less about. Boxing made this a 4 instead of a 5 for me.
This was actually
It's crazy that the all those 3-letter agencies were after him.
Yeah,
it's a crazy story.
Well, it's interesting though because he says how he comes from the streets and went legitimate. So he's innocent because he got away with stuff, but I don't think do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's such a,
he's definitely been
it doesn't matter. That's not the right way to look at it.
Profiled and harassed for 10 years.
Like to say you were from the streets, like, dude, we did shit. I did dumb shit as a kid too. It doesn't mean that I should be profiled for the next 15 years of my life. Like even if you sold some drugs when you were a teenager, does it mean that for the next 15 years of your life, you go legitimate?
Maybe he killed people. Like,
maybe
he went legit. He said like 23 or something. He's doing stuff. Did you guys watch it at all?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Angel Heart?
No.
Never seen Angel Heart with Robert De Niro and Mickey Rourke?
No. What is it, a boxing movie?
No, Robert De Niro plays the devil and has huge fingernails. And Jay Prince had massive fingernails.
Oh, you think he's the devil?
No. He was the most OG pimp
Okay.
Joe's ever had on the show, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe Rick Rose. I don't know, but he was...
Rick Rose?
Rick Ross.
The real
Rick Ross.
Highway Rick Ross.
But this guy was OG.
Yeah.
He did talk about boxing, though, and it was interesting when they talked about Larry Holmes fighting Muhammad Ali, in that Larry Holmes was the training partner for Muhammad Ali all those years.
And that beat up on him.
And, I mean, if you were that guy, of course that's what you'd do. It's a no-brainer.
I got to say this. At least this boxing talk was like insider stories and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just like, oh, this guy fought this guy, and this guy wasn't like regurgitated. It was like, this guy was like, yeah, I met Floyd when he was a nobody, like trying to get my ear in a gym, watching Mike Tyson spar. Like that. Those kind of boxing stories I actually don't so much mind because it's stuff you probably haven't heard. Joe didn't know, you know, that sort of stuff. But
I mean, I would still rather hear him talk about the rap game than...
I couldn't agree with you more. My point is I don't mind these boxing. Like if you have a good Mike Tyson, I was at Mike Tyson's house while he fed his tiger story. That's
right. And to know that like Floyd's dad and uncle didn't like him and thought he was in there trying to like steal all the money and blah, blah, blah. That was cool, you know?
Well, and it shows the mentality of the Mayweather family kind of, they're all a little bit fucking, just a little bit loopy.
It makes sense that he would talk about boxing. It'd be weird if he didn't, despite him being the CEO of Rap A Lot Records as well. You know what I mean? His
I agree.
involvement.
His involvement. And Joe's background in boxing.
He could have talked about vineyards. Like,
who is on Rap A Lot Records? Anybody I would know?
Pull it up, Kamar. This is before my time, to be completely honest.
Like, is he still has a record label? They still do that?
His son discovered Drake.
Drake, I know, but for his record label or for his
he's
own
on Young Money, Cash Money or whatever. Now he's on Universal.
Who, Drake?
Yeah.
Well, he's on OVO.
Well, that's his label, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he has his own record label
Yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah, for
Bun
sure.
B. Never heard of him. He's really
He's
big.
huge.
But in the South.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Bun B is big everywhere.
Yeah, okay. YBN Namir.
No idea.
He's almost a SoundCloud rapper. He's all right. Young Lyric and Honeycomb Brazy.
That's who's on there now. But what are the past? I think that was his question.
No, that was
more.
current artists.
Yeah. We don't want current. Go to the past.
Ghetto Boys, of course.
Yeah.
Scarface.
There we. Okay. Well, kind of
Big Mello, Raheem. No, Bushwick Bill, Solo. This is in 94, though, like way before your time. Big
Just
Mello.
everybody from the group solo. I get it.
Isn't the interest of who they put on. It's the fact that it's like a real Jay-Z, this guy.
Yeah.
like turn the streets into a business.
Like a real Jay-Z.
No. He said, he was like, these guys all got their plan from me. Jay-Z, all of them this time.
He's so OG. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you would expect him to talk about boxing because of his background. And Joe talked about boxing to him. At one point, I was like, wow, man, you really into this. Even though he had all the stories and stuff, it's like Joe was just flexing his knowledge, I felt. And when he talked about Terrence Crawford, he's a trained assassin. A trained assassin is Terrence Crawford. I could just imagine Terrence Crawford listening, thinking, I am so badass.
That wasn't one of his boxers, though.
It wasn't one of his, but just if Joe gets excited and passionate about a person, he can make anyone sound like the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
Whoa, that's true.
And then they brought up I'm going to butcher this name, boxer. They were talking about Ika Iyabuchi. Do you remember him saying that name a couple times?
No.
He brought it up. It was Ika Iyabuchi. And I looked this guy up, and he looked like a mean Mike Tyson.
A mean Mike Tyson.
And they're saying he would have been somebody who would have got in trouble. He was at a Las Vegas hotel, got an escort, and then things went wrong, and he kidnapped her.
I was just going to say, are you going to yada yada all the fucking important stuff?
Well, no.
He got an escort.
That was a problem.
Yeah.
Well, no, but they said he got himself into some trouble.
Yeah.
But if you see this guy, he's fucking vicious, which was very interesting. The guys who don't make it through, guys who party, opposite of like a Khabib or whatever. He also struggles with pronouncing the word ultimately.
I
Did
didn't
you
catch
notice
that? No.
He never landed one.
He didn't land one.
I didn't notice. When you listen on fast, you don't pick up on that stuff, I would imagine.
What speed are you listening on?
1.8.
Okay.
That's
They got a
that's my
3.5
sweet
now. It's
spot.
fucking insane. It's almost unlistenable.
And
All right,
he,
Josiah, shoulders bothering you?
oh
pal?
no. Okay, we'll wrap this up. No, he was asked by Joe, like, how'd you get like this, or what's the key to success? And he was saying reading. And I was really concerned because I don't read, until he was like, yeah, I read. I listen to it on a tape.
Well, yeah.
And they both concurred on that.
Same thing, man.
Yeah, you get the same info. I don't.
No, but I think reading with your eyes off a page
I'm sure it helps your brain a little bit, but what are you reading for? Are you reading for the mind workout, or are you reading to like absorb new information? You're reading to absorb new information, so it doesn't matter how it's getting in there.
Is it receiving new information if you read like a fiction?
Yeah, I think I think that you get good ideas from fiction as well as nonfiction.
Keep in mind, fiction writers still include like a lot of historical
It's
facts.
the
or you
real
can
world
learn
or
something.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
like a Michael Crichton, it's all based on science. It's just he extrapolates a little bit.
But I think the actual act of your eyes, the letters, all that is like a good workout for your brain.
I'm sure it is.
I still think if you're going to listen to books as opposed to doing nothing, then you're better off
I
listening.
find myself struggling to get through books. Like I don't, I can do it, but it takes a way longer time. So I can listen to like 10 books in the time it takes me to read one, you know?
I'll put it to you this way too, Kumar. There's times where you get an audiobook and it says 46 hours, and I just think to myself, how the fuck long would it take me to actually read this?
It does go faster.
Why are
obviously, when
you
listen
listening
it.
to a 46-hour audiobook?
I don't know. Some of them are that long.
I think you can read faster than you can listen. You can get through the words faster than someone pronounces it, for sure, if you're in a good mode of reading.
No, because sometimes I got to go back to like reread it to really get the fucking. Whereas if someone's reading it to me, I find I actually get it better.
I think that depends on the content. But
If you're a fast reader.
I think you can read faster than you can read aloud.
I think the problem really is that you can listen to that book and do other things.
Yeah,
and
no,
you can only
it makes
just
sense.
read.
I'm happy.
Can't drive and read. Can't
He-
bike and read.
he-
You shouldn't, anyways.
He was on here trying to sell a book, and it was
Walk and
all
read.
right.
Oh, you read it?
It was all right that he was hawking a book. Sometimes you sort of like, oh, this guy's just out here to sell this product, but it didn't matter because the pedigree he brought with him. But his first book he read that changed his life was Think and Grow Rich. You heard that?
Nope.
Do you know when it came out?
1962.
1937.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? And it's all about Dale Carnegie. And I bought it on Audible. Give it a listen.
After the Trump book I bought you, of course.
Can you lend me your Hotep Jesus book?
Yeah, I guess I just got to. Do you have a Dropbox?
No.
No.
Airdrop.
AirDrop. I can AirDrop it to you.
I don't think you can.
No, Hotep's genius. Like,
Hotep's genius.
it's interesting because this book you read, it's right after the Depression. When it's based on what they've seen. Like,
They were prognosticating as to what the future was going to be.
no, it was looking back and despite all these things, men who were successful and what they did to be successful. Like, it's all positive thinking, and like, you've got to say you're going to make $100,000 by next year, and then start working towards it,
Gotcha.
and never to quit. And it's all about Thomas Edison. It's quite interesting and super interesting that it spoke to him.
That reminds me, we didn't come close to any of our goals.
Which goals?
We had Simon and I wrote goals at the beginning of the year on the whiteboard. I have them on my phone.
But you took the goals off, so.
No. I have them on my phone.
Well,
10 million
the goals
downloads,
were
mentioned on a
crazy.
major
We
podcast.
said to like reach for the stars.
Yeah, we did. Well, we got 5 million downloads. Not this year,
The
but
bottom line is to never give up.
Okay.
And that's what he got. And his success is just unbelievable. Like, I feel stupid telling his stories or anything like that.
what's he worth?
I'm glad you asked. Take a guess.
Wow. I think he's worth
50.
28.
45 million.
Don't point at me when he's right.
I wasn't right. I was
Well, you're
closer.
Close, yeah.
But no, I mean, this was just so heavy, and I was so worried when they were talking about boxing. Like I
That
said,
it was just going to be all
I
boxing.
wanted to hear them talk about Drake and Pusha T, whatever.
Did you get enough of like, I would have liked more kind of like coming up story? Because I didn't know anything about this guy.
I think he doesn't want to incriminate himself,
Fair
and he
enough.
doesn't
This
want
is the
to.
streets, and
Yeah.
this is why they're trying to get you.
Right.
That makes that right.
Right. No, but how crazy is that? Like that whole
The Janet Reno had to get involved is even
it's
fucking
nuts,
crazy.
man.
It's legitimate, like,
Harassment.
By the way, that brings up a good point I wanted to make, is that Joe does this so often where he panders to a guest. Joe spent the whole summer defending cops, being like, it's just a few bad apples. It's just a few bad apples if you really think about it. This guy then is like, this guy in this episode is like, it feels like it's not just a few bad apples. It feels like the good cops are few and far between. And Joe's like, yeah, it definitely feels like the good cops are tough to find. And I was like, fuck you, dude. You spent the last 6 months saying the opposite.
they talked about the code of silence. And if you have 100 cops and 7 bad cops, but no one says anything, you have 100 bad cops.
That's what I've always said. Yes, I agree with that statement whole fucking heartedly. You're not a good cop if you watch a bad cop do bad shit.
But I don't think, I think Jay Prince was acknowledging systemic racism, whatever, but was saying all cops are bad.
I'm not saying all cops are bad.
But he was in some scary fucking times before. Like, you think about having cell phones or stuff when you're.
Come on, he brought up the best point though. Like, how is it that this cop has killed 6 people when most cops never even pull their gun out, let alone
DEA
discharge
agent.
it? That's my point. And that's what he's saying is like, statistically,
assassin.
statistically speaking, this is impossible. So this guy's obviously an assassin, and it's obviously been covered up at every level.
Did you
because
see the police in Calgary trying to get that
was fucking
hockey player
hilarious.
off the ice?
Does he skate away?
At one point, he skates backwards.
No, they get him
onto
on.
the
They get him
ice.
on the ground.
Yeah, eventually, it's the stupidest thing ever. Is that all because they're not supposed to be playing shinny?
No, it's actually even worse. So I read into it. The health department in Alberta says you can be on an outdoor rink. It's up to the outdoor rink to determine how many people can be there safely and post said number. And that's where the whole beef was. The guy's saying in the video, where does it say in the health code that I can't be here? Where does it say that? And she's like, we're representing the health, we're just doing our due diligence. But again,
it was crazy.
you're about to tase a citizen for skating on a rink because that's fucking, we're at a level now.
They should just never use violence if there's no violence in the situation.
Dude, when she
right?
starts
Like,
kneeing him, and they can't get him down.
What
First
was
of all,
the worst that he was doing to the...
Break the law.
well, resisting is what they
I
claim.
guess. Okay.
Here's my thing, though, is
He wasn't. I mean, he kind of was. He was standing there. They just couldn't take him down because they were on shoes and he was on skates.
I mean, either way, it's
It's not
hilarious
funny.
that two
It's-
trained cops can't take a guy down who's on fucking
Is
skates.
it disturbing or funny?
It was...
I found it disturbing.
I found it disturbing.
Because I
too.
clicked on it, saw what it was, and just didn't watch it.
My problem was I was watching it on TMZ, so I didn't know what like that's where the story came up, and then you're like, well, now I have to check this,
Well, no, it's been circulating around. Someone posted it on our Reddit, which is where I first saw it. Again, it's just one of those things where it's like this whole respect my authority thing is just ridiculous. Like, that's what it really stems from. It's like, I told you to get off the ice. Well, just tell me where it says I can't be on the ice. No, I told you can't be on the ice.
It's not a very good situation for sure.
Well, and again, the cops defended him vehemently through their social media and everything. He was resisting arrest, and this is what happens when you resist arrest. You will go to jail. You could be tased.
I mean,
Are you guys saying this is some bounds we're stepping over that may be crossed forever?
No, I'm saying, well, listen, if that kid was black, there's a good chance he would have been way worse. It's also in Calgary, so
We
let's.
all got our problems. Their accents were funny, though.
Oh my god, so
I was like,
Canadian.
here, other
So
Canadians
fucking
talking.
watching those situations, I don't know, man. It's annoying because you want the guy to just make the situation go away, but obviously the police are being unreasonable. But it's not going to end well. Like you just see it all playing out in front of you. There's no good.
The disappointing thing, Simon, is it's fine that it plays out that way. It's not fine that it plays out that way. What's disappointing is that then the elected officials and the police department, no fault at all.
Yeah,
they don't.
They always have to stand up. For
And that's
their
the
own.
problem is they
Yeah.
don't sit there and say, listen, this was handled poorly on all sides.
Yeah.
There was resisting arrest because
Yeah.
that's clearly in the video
That's
to
what it
some
was.
degree. But does it then mean that the cops can knee this guy in the chest to try to get him to the
it
ground to
doesn't-
put handcuffs on? Like,
no, because it has to warrant the situation. He wasn't resisting arrest in the way that it was making them feel unsafe. Because you could clearly, besides the fact that he's on skates and he could skate away.
but again, that doesn't make you feel unsafe. That just means he can
Matt,
escape.
I understand. In this one, you can clearly see they just didn't like that he was not getting on his stomach. Like
He's been a brat.
You're not
that he was
abiding by
being a brat.
And we say we're not supposed to do that.
Not be a brat. Oh, I said,
But stop.
I think the guy
Stop.
should have
Stop.
just
It's not what I
done it.
said.
Hold on,
I
wait.
do.
This is what I'm saying though, is being a brat, what he's saying, he's not being a brat. What he's saying is, I have the right to be here. I'm not breaking a law, so you can't arrest me.
Right. So what he should have just done is walked off the ice, sat down, and at that point, it would have been crazy for them to touch him. You know what I mean? He's clearly not, and just talk to the police at that point. But again, it was like all on camera. They wanted to make it a deal.
My problem though is that I can't guarantee that when he leaves the ice that talking to the cops, I worked at a bar for a long time. I can't tell you how many times at 2:30 in the morning, cops would walk up and go leave. And you're going, well, I'm on the sidewalk. This is public property. Go home or you're going to get arrested. And that always baffled me. Like, what could you possibly arrest me for? Drunk in public? Like,
Nothing good happens after midnight. That's all they're thinking.
But my point is that's
not right.
that's not why we have cops. We don't have cops to tell people to get off a public street or to do something that's legal. And then when you don't respect their authority, like that's my problem is the whole.
Both sides were not perfect in that
Fully
situation.
agree. But you have
in
to-
this case, I think the cops were way worse. That doesn't mean in another situation
Hold
the
on, though.
right thing isn't to de-escalate.
Hold on, I agree. But the problem, Simon, the problem that we encounter though is that at the end of the day, this guy did get arrested. It's on his record. He has to pay for a lawyer.
That's all crap.
The other side has nothing. There is no.
Matt, that is all crap.
That's all I'm saying.
I totally agree. I just think in the end, there probably could have been a better solution if he didn't want to prove a point.
Let's also keep in mind in this day and age, there's going to be a GoFundMe. The guy's
It's
probably already made
Calgary.
$100,000. Like,
And
Or in this day and age, this would never happen without COVID. He'd just be skating. There's no way a
that's
cop
right.
would be involved.
Totally. He would. It's a weird situation. All
Neither
around.
here nor there. He told the story about how he went to fucking Biggie Smalls and said, "Watch how you roll. It's not a good time right now."
Crazy.
It's so crazy how OG
that's not
he
that
is.
crazy though, because I have a feeling I'm no genius, but I have a feeling a lot of people were telling Biggie and Puffy.
Well, all those people
Not
are interesting,
to
and I'd
go.
like to have them on the
Yeah,
podcast.
Well, don't you think that it was probably like the CIA who killed?
No, it was Rampart cops for sure. Super crooked Rampart LAPD cops.
Okay.
Killed both of them.
Don't you hate that the flight attendant that the CIA is the hero?
It's terrible.
It's
the whole
terrible,
show's all
isn't it?
fucked up. And then they give her a job at the end. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I was
That has
That
to be a
show
spoiler
sucks.
alert.
if the Italian guy dies, this is fucking
He was such a sweet guy, eh?
so nice. It is known. I said,
Then no.
who's going to break the news to her?
Well, then nobody has to. He lived, man. It's all good.
Would you guys?
He lived and Max lived. Oh, these are all spoiler alerts. Don't even bother watching this anymore. It's over.
I like to see Floyd Mayweather on Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
I
that
think
would
so.
be cool. Yeah.
Did he say that he wanted Trump on? Did I hear that correctly?
You said that was Schulz, yeah?
Yeah, but then he said, and
On
he'd
ecstasy.
have ecstasy. Yeah. So.
Still.
Do you think Joe will have Trump on now that he's
I
not
said
president
that
anymore?
months ago. I said that months ago.
I
and I
re-
still stand by it.
I hope he doesn't, because
It would be a bad optic
if
for Joe, right?
Trump runs again, then it's like bringing Joe back into the political world. It would only make sense if he was done with politics forever and you were talking to him now.
well,
like
there's
you
talks
could do
about The
that.
Apprentice coming back.
That doesn't also mean he's not still running
I get
for
it, but what I'm
president.
saying is if The Apprentice comes back, there's reason almost for him to go on Joe Rogan. To
yeah.
Of
plug.
course, we want to see him on Joe Rogan, but it probably won't go well.
Oh, it'd be a one
It's
star. for
too
sure.
chaotic, you know what I mean? Well, no, how Joe interacts with him makes a whole bunch of people think Joe's a certain way.
After
You know what I
watching the
think?
Kanye episode, there's no way it would be like a hard hitting journalistic. Like Joe's never going to ask a question that
it'll
fucking
be harder
matters.
hitting than any journalism that's out there right now. Anyways, one of the good things about this podcast was that Jay Prince brought a bunch of stuff from his winery, and he definitely got into the stories as he was enjoying himself, the conversation, and drinking red wines. It really got good.
Joe
Where I feared during the boxing.
Joe asked him where the grapes came from, though, and he didn't know. That wasn't good.
I feel,
Again, he owns the vineyard. I don't think he's like that hands on. I have a feeling he has a few like professionals working
just like
there.
he doesn't know as much about boxing as Joe does.
I think he
But
knows
he's in it.
enough
No, I
about
think
boxing.
I think he's great, and I appreciate. Had it just been, I knew him as a music producer, and he came on and just talked about boxing and had no relation to it, but it's his passion, definitely his passion. It's totally warranted. And then when he got into the stories about rap and coming up and Suge Knight and
Should.
Shug?
Suge,
When they were talking about
Huge.
them getting into business, I was like, that's
Yeah, I
that's
was
the
like,
last person in the
no
world you ever want to
wonder
get
all
in business
these
with. Well, that
CIA
too.
and FBI and everybody are after you. You're involved with dudes who are into racketeering. Like,
See, and that was the thing. Once he was when he was talking about being followed around, then he talked about like, oh, I was going to get in business with Suge Knight, and I was like, okay, well, officially the tails are back on at that
Yeah.
point. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
you expect.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Suge
Yeah.
Knight was up to absolutely no good ever.
hanging Vanilla Ice over the balcony to get like I think
That's
that is
one story. So just
but that-
imagine.
that is like
But
yeah,
it's like
that's the quintessential like
that's
Suge
the
Knight.
reason.
You're also forgetting
Like,
that he's
the
in
her-
jail now because he ran a guy over on a movie set.
yeah.
But when you're
I'm
saying
not forgetting
there's
that.
no reason whatsoever, is well, that is a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting, and I don't think Joe wanted to go there or, like you said, incriminate himself.
No.
I will say this though, there's some scary shit when he was like the cop pulled me over. Now obviously the cop knows you have a gun. You know, if he's tailing you, they know you have a gun. When he was like they took some of the bullets, that right away I would
Oh yeah, that was fucked up, man. What do you want a bullet for?
dude, entrapment.
Obviously.
Plant that shit
That-
at
that
any
was
number
a
of crimes.
rhetorical
Dude, that was one of
question.
those ones where I was like, that's the scariest shit in the world right there.
And that's such a flex play by the CIA,
100%.
dude. Oh my god, like yeah, we don't want your gun, but check the clip.
Even then, it's two-sided because it's like if he does notice, great. And if he doesn't notice, even better.
Even better, yeah.
Because if he doesn't notice, we're dealing with a fucking moron. Like, I got to admit, this is why I'm not a criminal. I don't think I would have. I probably would have noticed bullets missing. Actually, no, that's retarded. I totally would have. I would have noticed bullets missing.
I don't know. It depends how many bullets you shoot off. If you're shooting bullets into
If
the
you're
air,
the type of guy that doesn't
You
know
know
how
what
many
I mean?
bullets you have, you should have a gun.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
I got some bullets here. I got some
Yeah.
bullets there.
No, but that to me was the scariest part.
Well, no, the whole thing was entrapment. Everything the Molly, the back.
But I mean, that has to be like, whether you think this guy was up to no good or not, if you're a citizen of the United States, you have to hear that and immediately go, what the fuck?
No, he was persecuted for sure, but there's some things he did that he got away with or whatever. I'd like to know what those are, and he's not going to incriminate himself. So that's the only thing, but you could see he was a cool dude. And even if you're listening
he was
on,
a super cool dude.
On super speed, he still sounded like in the drawl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
talked through the sped up to be G upon G.
But you're right. He probably was the most like serious.
I think so.
I don't even know.
Founder.
Something.
Well, what are we talking about?
Like
roots of hip hop.
Dangerous guy who's ever been on Rogan, I would imagine.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No?
Didn't we have a guy that killed his girlfriend?
He had that cop Michael Dodd on, who like was a fucking crooked cop. That guy, crooked cops are the worst out of everyone.
I just imagine there is so much that we didn't hear.
Of course.
But again, I would also imagine there's been a lot of guests on who there's a lot. War Machine was fair. On.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Yes. Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about like.
I'm just saying though, as far as dangerous people, like realistic.
How about people in the life? Does that make more sense? Like.
Sure.
Like I get the cop, but that's so insulated to. But yeah, he would have been a way worse dude, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But I
bet he killed people.
This guy's like a Barry Gordy, though. You know what I mean?
Like a Barry
he
Gordy.
is Houston rap. Houston rap is huge. Like you were saying, we're the meat, the East and West Coast are the bread, like, and the pioneership of the Ghetto Boys. Like, he just wasn't those. He was.
I don't agree with that statement one fucking iota, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that New York is the bread, the East and West are the bread, and they're the fucking meat. Get the fuck out of here.
But I'll admit, I only knew West Coast, East Coast rap till I was like 14 or something. Like I wasn't a connoisseur. And then Outkast came out, and then all of a sudden there was this explosion. But for the longest time,
yeah, of course,
it was New York or LA, not knowing these scenes were bubbling.
But I mean, even then, since then, there's a million fucking rap scenes that are.
But I don't like this guy's cooler than Kanye. You know what I mean?
Kanye is that's the lowest bar in the world.
How would be like, no.
This guy's cooler than Kanye. Everybody's cooler than Kanye.
I think Kanye's pretty cool.
Yeah, we know.
If he like had Quincy Jones on.
That would be cool.
No, but that's where this guy's stature is like fundamental
Quincy
for that.
Is insane.
Well, Quincy's bigger, but for hip-hop, rap, which is the biggest music in the world right now. This was super cool, this podcast. I was so worried of the boxing.
This is good. I hope that this opens up more doors because I like. It feels like since we started doing this, there's been way more hip hop artists on or people in hip hop. Like if you think we've been doing this 2 years. Prior to that, there weren't like how many. There's maybe like Immortal Technique, Tech 9.
Well, same with UFO guys.
Sure, but okay, so great. We're both
Everybody's
fishing our wish.
their wish.
There we go.
I was fatigued by Schulz. Like,
are we still talking about Schulz?
No, Rawlings, Honey, Schulz. At that point, I was like, well, this wasn't much of a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I think I had to binge listen to 2 of them. I was like,
I did it in different order. They all 4 of them were already out.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, sorry. I did Rawlings, and then the other 3 came out, and I did J Prince, then Schulz, and then Honey I did today, like on like fucking 17 times.
No, man. You have to listen to them all, and then the J Prince is just a whoa.
It's way better.
This is as good as this podcast.
Yeah,
that's how I did it too. Come on, but no, I listened to them as they came out.
It was that thing where you compare episodes to other episodes.
Well, I do that anyway. That's what this fucking show is.
Yeah.
It was a good episode. I would have liked more, but I get why I couldn't get it, I guess.
I think he will have a movie. If he so desires, that would be amazing. On so many levels of the music industry.
And what is his book all about? Does it get into all of this stuff?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't know.
It's The Rules of Respect, I believe the book is.
Is that what it's called?
Kamar will tell us in a month.
Well,
it's not How to Get Rich?
Well, no, it's in the same vein, though, as like I said, How to Think Rich.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Think and Grow
Is it
Rich,
a self-help book or is it a tell his life story book?
It's how I did it so you can do it.
Oh, yeah, I know. I want to hear stories.
He-
Never
no,
going to hear stories. I guess, right?
He may use stories lessons because he was super religious.
Yeah.
And he was too cool for Joe to fuck her. But no, Joe's come around on religion for sure. From when he started.
Yeah. Oh no, he used to make fun of religion all the time. I again, as long as you're not hurting anybody, what does it even matter?
But it's like when someone else talks about religion, I'm like, yeah, whatever. When Jay Prince talks about religion, I'm like, yeah.
No, I still was like, yeah,
The
whatever.
parables.
No, he lost me hard when he was like, well, we also can't forget about God and the hand of God. I was like, later.
I find it so interesting, though, when people are saying this is integral to my success. And they mean it.
Because it's worked for them this far, so they can't go and jinx it now.
And I'm so
For me, it's such a sweet cop out where it's like, I prayed every night, Joe. And finally I found this book. And it's like, okay, but you prayed every night before that and you didn't get the book. So then one night finally was answered and you believe, I don't know. It just doesn't equate to me.
Maybe there's
to
a
pray
lot
enough.
of people to answer, Can't
Easy,
get to
Bruce
everybody
Almighty.
every night.
Fuck
the
outta
world's
here.
against me. God has my back.
Yeah, that's
What's
a
the
crock of
analogy with the sand and the footprints?
Did you see the meme of Jesus?
shit. The fervorment.
Was it Jesus is fucking Jesus in the ass?
No.
And it says Jesus fucking Christ. And it's a tattoo.
Pete Davidson got the world's best tattoo that I've ever seen. And now I heard he's going to remove all of them, which is ridiculous.
Interesting. He's got money.
He got the painting from Goodfellas
Yes, it's so good.
just under his
the
nipple.
dogs and the old man
and the
in the
old man.
boat.
Dude, I thought to myself, why did that it's like a good joke. When you hear a great joke,
It's a
you're
great
like,
joke. You know somebody's in on a great joke.
no, but even then I was like,
Or
why did I know?
songs.
Why did I not think about it? It was so simple. And
It's
it's something
meant
that's
to
in
be.
my lexicon. Like, dude, I've had that as my Facebook fucking.
Of course, it's meant to be. Like, of course.
Oh, you mean you wanted to get that tattoo?
The second I saw it, I was like, that should have been my first
Of
tattoo.
course.
Like 100%. Fuck. One dog's going this way and the other's going that way. And this guy's sitting there like, what do you want from me?
What do you want from me?
This was a great podcast.
Oh, I rated a 4.
I haven't watched that movie in forever. I should watch that.
That movie is fucking incredible. I rated a 4.
And I haven't watched Casino in forever. I could just fast forward through the Sharon Stone scenes. I give it a 4 too, I guess. Yeah.
A 4.2 or 4 as
No,
well?
a 4 as well.
Okay.
It's a 4.5. But if Schulz hadn't been on and had not talked about any fighting at all, or they'd
You
been on,
might have given this a 5.
his boxing would have been so much more interesting than just the day before listening to half the same arguments again. And you know how I love when they talk about fighting.
All right. All right. So that's a week,
That's
huh?
another week, bro.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays,
Happy
Kwanzaa,
holidays.
Hanukkah,
Happy holidays,
Everybody
guys.
out
Merry
there.
Christmas.
whatever
Mars
the
to
fuck it
yours.
is you celebrate. Enjoy it.
Everyone's
Stay
getting
safe.
vaccine for Christmas.
I hope.
Nobody's getting the vaccine until way later.
Did you see Trudeau put out a video of him saying, "Don't worry, Santa
worry
Claus
about
is
reaping."
coming. We've talked to the CDC, the CSIS. He's going to social distance and wear a mask."
He's doing it in blackface.
I want to show it to you after, but it's
Okay.
why do you do that? But Merry Christmas, all the best.
No, Merry Christmas. We have an Instagram and a Twitter. They are both at JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
Kamar Babar.
Simon, do you want to talk about your business?
No.
Never?
Wait till he's
Just out of curiosity. If you
sponsor.
don't, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fine. I don't want to force you to do anything.
gotta pay
I
to
just figured
advertise.
maybe you were excited about it. Or
I don't know how that all works. So let me.
Okay. No, he can never advertise on this.
Yeah,
That's out of the question.
definitely not.
No, I already know because I contacted it. You can't.
I know.
I know. Yeah. That being said, I guess Simon has nothing, so don't bother with him. I also have nothing. We do, though, have a YouTube. Our quest to 1,000 subscribers continues. We just need 397 more of you.
Help a brother out.
So just jump on, go to youtube.com/JREE podcast, hit subscribe, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to watch shit. You don't need to like anything. Just subscribe and walk away. Simple as that. And then, of course, there's the Patreon, patreon.com/JREE podcast. If you want to support the show, you can do it there. Let me address something real quick here. Go ahead, Kumar. What do you want to say?
I think the Patreon is the easiest way to support the podcast.
Well, I think listening is actually the easiest way to support the podcast.
I'm just trying to Jedi mind trick them.
Okay.
Edit this part out.
Okay. Yeah. How do I say this? Well, no, I'm trying to find when I say we're not doing any more throwbacks, I mean that in the sense that like we're not. There might be the occasional one here or there if we feel inclined or if we have the time. We're not doing anything on a schedule anymore as far as that's concerned with the Patreon. So the Patreon is really just going to become a donation platform if you want to help us out. And if you don't, we get it.
And the post show. You
Yes,
get
and the post show.
And it's not nothing.
And
it's something. If you want to do, we
I'm
don't
still-
care either way.
I'm still inches away from moving that back to free anyway, but we'll get to that on another day. So,
And the post show and the 40 episodes of throwbacks. The
yeah,
back
those will
catalog.
always be there. That will always be there. But I just want to let people know, like people are on the
It's not nothing.
listen. People are on the Reddit saying, "Do more." Simon doesn't have the time.
I don't. I'm sorry.
That's it. So just
You don't have to apologize.
yeah, you don't.
You guys do a great job. It's amazing. You don't have to justify yourself.
We just don't have the time. This thing doesn't bring in enough money to justify it, which is fine. We still like doing this. It is what it is. We're going to continue doing this.
Send me more questions. I'll do
But
that.
we just don't want to be unfair to anybody. That's how
it.
simple it
We're
is.
too
you
honest.
know?
We're too honest,
Yeah,
boys.
and I don't want to be on a schedule where we're not having fun. We want to have fun doing this. I think that's the biggest thing. And if it's not fun, then it's not worth doing. And if it's not worth doing, then we won't do it. And then there's nothing. So that's really where it's at.
But Patreons, we appreciate your support. And there's a brand new one
for
coming
sure.
out.
Oh, I appreciate the shit out of all of you on Patreon, whether you've joined recently or not. And again, like I said, if you joined annually in the hopes of constantly getting new throwbacks and stuff, email us, hit me up. I will refund you.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. We're not trying to gouge money. This isn't some money play. We don't want anyone to feel like they're not getting what they want. So please don't feel embarrassed. Hit me up. Say, yo, this isn't what I'm paying for. We will refund you your money. That being said, we do hope you have a very safe and happy holidays. We hope you get to maybe be around some loved ones. We hope you get a nice meal. I think that's it. We will see you once before the new year, I believe, right?
Right before the new year.
Right before the new year. There you go. So we will have one more show to close out the year. Unless Joe might take the week off. You
I
never know.
think you might take the week off.
But I don't know if we can we?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
want
we
it.
can.
Oh.
We have no ads for next week.
Well, let's see then what happens.
Well, we'll
Let's
play it by
not commit to
podcast.
anything.
I'd still like to sit down and at least for like a half. Oh no, Simon's.
No, I haven't even looked at a calendar. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, everyone wants a year-end review. That's what they really want. I like if we had one guest on, so we had to get together. We could do a little year-end.
I believe he's going to have a guest for sure. So there'll be something, whether it's Uncle Joey down for Christmas or I could see something like that happen.
And he posted like another 8 dates with Chappelle.
Wow.
And they also sold out.
That Stubbs thing, like that. They're just.
I logged on and there just wasn't an
Why,
option.
you were heading down to Texas?
I thought one of two things. Well, just hear me out.
Patreon's been going well.
In closing, I thought I'll buy 2 tickets, and if going is an option, I'll think about going. And if going is not an option, I could use an extra $400 US. That's all I was thinking.
Right, you wouldn't have a problem getting rid of them.
No problem at all. They're
Came to
selling.
your
They're selling
senses.
like fucking hot. And I wouldn't gouge either. I would just charge it.
And what if he asked you to come with him?
I know he wouldn't
Wouldn't
go.
go.
Of course,
You can't.
no, but that's the best thing you do. We offer someone something you know they aren't going to take.
Yeah.
So you get
That's all
the
you ever
credit.
want is an invite.
Well, because right now you
much
can't. You
than
can only fly to the States. You cannot drive. There's no option. Anyway,
Anyway,
that's it. Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
keep your eyes open. Stay safe out there, everyone.